Alright, so last we were around, our party had finished the Killing Blow dungeon and had successfully taken over the vessel. Some absolutely horrific things happened. Reality contorted, and you fought the spawn of twisted flesh, thrashing tendrils, and gnawing teeth. And afterwards, the Tempestborn stepped in to participate in the restoration, at least getting the Killing Blow back to operational status. It's been around 3 days. They have pulled the dropship, if you recall, which was embedded into the side of the Killing Blow's hangars. They have pulled it out, and it is now resting inside of the Killing Blow's hangars.
So we've had
The
time.
front of it is fucked. Like, there is a massive gaping hole in the dropship, from what you're aware of. And in the side of the Killing Blow's hangar doors, there is a dropship-sized hole. So, the hangar section is depressurized, and all of the stuff that you wanted to keep in atmosphere, because of, like, vacuum welding, cold welding, had to be moved inside of the dropship. The hangar, specifically, because there's no rupture in there, it could be pressurized. So, for the moment, you all were taking those 3 days to rest and recuperate. You told me that you were all basically hanging out in one fucking room, which was a bit weird, but I imagine that you all find your quarters and get yourselves established on this new ship of yours. And by the time that the third day arrives, and you're all called up to the bridge, you all arrive around the malfunctioning pedestal, which y'all reach attempted to get the hollow table working, and that is where we left off. So why don't I drag us up to here? Alright. That should be about good. I just need to bring aboard, because it is not just Zacharias attending, it is also a certain Lord Francis Smith.
Oh.
Here we are, gents.
Still there.
Yes, it's still there. No one's washed it off yet. You arrive at the hollow table. Yarreach has just managed to get it fixed, and members of authority, as well as the pirate queen herself, Nevada, have arrived. Nevada places her 2 hands down on the nav table. Now, when I agreed to help you take down the big boss, I assumed you had a plan. So, let's hear it.
Well, the plan thus far is to use this ship to infiltrate straight to the Killing Blow, board it, and try and either take the ship out or take it over.
She kind of you can see her eyes widen for a second, and then she throws her head back and goes, ha ha ha! Oh, you're serious. Let me laugh harder. No matter.
Yeah,
That
I don't
ship-
think that's gonna work.
That ship is beyond you. It is, I would reckon, about 5 or so times the size of the Killing Blow. You would stand no chance.
Well, we don't need to take the entire ship. We just need to take its captain and its command crew.
Killing Anarchy's Reign herself. Oh. She kind of drums her fingers.
I know there's no way that's going to be a simple task either, but this is pretty much the most direct way to break an invasion fleet, so we're going to take it.
Francis kind of grips his sidearm and goes, I cannot believe we are working with pirate scum. And Zacharias kind of calmly puts a hand on his shoulder. Calm, friend. Just for the moment.
The dead have no honor. We'll take the allies we can get here.
So, you just plan to board the capital ship and wrench control away from the captain and crew.
One of my plans was to sabotage one of its minor systems and basically cause a catastrophic failure along the line.
Which system? The air conditioning?
I was personally thinking the disinfectant system that prevents bacterial buildup.
That would take too long. At that point, you're basically just, sieging them out. I mean, what if...
Unless you can hack into some kind of major critical system, I don't think this is worth discussing.
And I
Not
was
to mention,
thinking,
if they notice a gradual change, they'll get their maintenance crews on it, and they'll have it fixed up.
and I had been thinking that, out of character. Killing Blow is Nevada's ship. Anarchy's Reign is the capital ship, yes?
Anarchy's Reign. Her capital ship is known as the Hammer Undying.
Anarchy's Reign is the character, Anarchy Undying is the
Anarchy's Reign is
vessel,
a
yeah.
faction.
Oh, god damn it. No. Okay, this is, yeah, sorry. It's been such a
Anarchy's
song.
Reign is both a faction and a warlord leader.
Okay. Hammer Undying is the ship, Anarchy's Reign is more or less the person. Okay, back into character. My plan is that Neve is going to have to, if she's going to come back to the fleet, they're going to want to know what she's been up to. For obvious reasons, they can't know what has been happening. So we need to make Neve come back looking like she's succeeded in her hunt. Maybe even with prisoners in tow that she could present to Anarchy's Reign. Prisoners that are not as incapacitated as they might believe.
So you want me to take you prisoner and then hand you off to Anarchy's Reign?
We'll disguise some of our men as your guards and crew members, and take some persons of interest, disguise them as prisoners, and allude that they'd be willing to surrender information personally to Anarchy's Reign for their freedom. And then, once we've secured an audience, we jump them.
Okay, that's not a bad plan.
So,
This is gonna require a lot of delicate tiptoeing around some sensitive matters, as well as your full cooperation, Neve. But you stand to gain much from this
Who's
operation.
Neve?
Nevada. Excuse me.
No, seriously, who is Neve?
That was out of character. Pay it no mind. You stand to gain much from this, Nevada. So I'm hoping that we can trust in you just a bit longer.
Sure, you can trust me.
insight check!
My visor levels towards her with a gleam for a second before looking back at
Or
She smiles her shark smile.
motive.
I say
I don't
audibly,
think
I
we
know.
need that.
I say I know about as much as I can throw you, and you've seen me. That was a joke, mostly.
She shrugs.
So it might take a little longer, but I have an idea.
Well, this is a place for ideas.
So, so we get aboard the capital ship, right? Even if we take the capital ship, we're surrounded on all sides by hostile forces. We kill the captain.
Cultists, beasties, monsters, mechs.
What's not to stop all of those guys from immediately boarding the ship and outrouting us? Like, we're only a handful of people. We can't stop an actual army.
That's an interesting point, because once we have a hold of Anarchy's Reign, assuming we can defeat her, and keep in mind she's, well, been a warband leader for over 70 years? Anyway, we'd still have the rest of her ship to contend with.
So I have an
would.
idea. Right?
Go ahead.
Modify your plan as to where we get brought aboard their ship. Right? Still do the same thing, but we time it, right, to a, say, a counter attack. I'm fairly certain there's a sizable fleet orbiting or currently over near the Zavoth system. We could go over. If we go over to them, say, hey, we're being attacked over here. they're gonna send a sizable force. And if we're on board their ship, when they pop in, it's gonna cause all sorts of panic. We run the jump operations. It's gonna sow massive amounts of confusion and discord. And that's when Tim Tom looks over to Lord Francis. Excuse me, Lord Francis?
His expression turns even more stony, and he casts an eye to you.
Theoretically speaking, how close could an echo-capable vessel come into real space near a gravitational body?
That's a complicated question. The real answer is it depends entirely on the ship and its engine. There are some that are more capable than others. And if we're talking about a fleet, they would need to approach at the safest possible point, or risk its destruction, or disorganized arrival.
With a fleet the size that's orbiting Zavoth, with a fleet that... From my understanding, the Zavoth 3 is like the closest system to us, right? Or relatively close to us, astronomically speaking.
No,
I'm speaking out of character.
Okay, so he is going to go ahead and, with Yarich having fixed the nav table, he is going to pull up a little local map. And I believe that I have sent this to you before.
Yes, you have.
Keep in mind this is a unfinished map, but I will go ahead and send it to you, as well as anybody else that wants it currently. You are in the midst of, Draconis Dominion territory.
Yeah.
You're in the center of their empire. You're a pretty good distance away from Zavoth. The last time that you made that trip, it was 17 days away.
Okay. So, Tim Tom's gonna look over to him, to Lord Francis. Lord Francis, sir, is there any other naval locations nearby to where, say, a vessel could go over and call for help? Because, unfortunately, I don't think that two battered ships, are going to be able to do much against this. If we go over and try to capture the vessel by ourselves, we're going to get overran. Even if we defeat the captain, we're still going to get overran. It might cause temporary, issues. Or we can continue with that idea and get help. We need to get some assistance to move them away from the planet. I don't know what they're doing. They might be starting an invasion. I don't know, but we gotta have some sort of something to get them out.
If we are to do this, then we must rescue the royalty first. I cannot abide leaving our best left to die.
Where would they be kept at? Taken
They would be
prisoner
at
or
the
still fighting?
They would be at the peak of Lion's Crest, and the most heavily fortified sections of our territory. Perhaps if we were to sneak planet-side, we could establish some kind of communication with your Neve's crew, correct?
Yes.
That we are.
Then perhaps you could get a hold of your patron, and we could organize some form of rescue. But I cannot tolerate leaving this system knowing that we are damning them to die, or worse.
I agree.
And all this time, the Pirate Queen has just been kind of shifty a little bit. If we go into Lomin space, I expect some form of guarantee I won't be arrested. And Francis coldly turns over to him. I can offer you no assurances. That's all he says. Well then, that's very comforting. She looks at the rest of you.
Come now, Francis. We have to be reasonable here.
He lets out a pretty short, he seems like a very traditional man. He lets the breath out very short and sharp. Unacceptable. This Nevada has been terrorizing our space for at least 5 or so years. Killed countless people, robbed countless resources from our empire. It cannot be done.
Anarchy's reign stands to do far worse.
Can you go ahead and give me a diplomacy check?
With pleasure.
Okay, could be better, but for the purpose of recording, that was a non-natural 20.
They call that a dirty 20 in the groups.
In Starfinder, that's not worth very much.
His brow. No, it's pretty good. If I had to give you like DCs and their values, hold on.
Again, you definitely could have rolled better, but at the same time, that's not bad either.
The worst part is that's a fucking 7 for my character.
Let's see real
Oh, hey,
quick.
look, you have something you're good at.
Well, I'm good at... I mean... Do you have any idea how many skills I have that are over plus 10? It's more than not.
True. I'm going to say that if you were just flat out trying to convince him of something that wouldn't benefit him at all, you would have failed. However, you make a good point, and his brow continues to, like, tighten into knots. This man's, like, working himself up over the thought of just letting a notorious pirate lord go. If we rescue the royalty, I will reconsider my stance.
Well, very well. It sounds like there's now also an incentive in place.
Ha ha ha! I knew you wouldn't do me wrong. She looks over to you, Ankos. We will talk about that later. So, we rescue these stuffy nobles, and then we make head for Zavor 3.
Or to a location that a sizable naval presence would be based. Yes.
Well,
Well,
this
let
is
me think. Francis interjects. I'd rather you not. The closest military fortification would be in House Mortis territory.
Is House Draconis on good terms with House Mortis? I apologize for asking, sir. I'm not too familiar with, your politics, I'm afraid.
House Mortis is one of our closest allies, guardians of ancient technology and secrets. They would be sure to have some reserves we could borrow upon.
As for how we'd call reinforcements during the actual party itself, something I had been considering. Anarchy, the flagship of Anarchy's reign is bound to have very powerful communications arrays. If we take the ship, then we can put out the message as far and wide that the attacking fleet is compromised and a good time to counterattack is nigh. And if we fail to take the ship, well, we never send a message in, then we don't have to risk the friendly fleets coming into their slaughter.
Look, I mean...
Just a thought to consider.
That's a good
Not
idea,
a great
but
one, but it's a thought.
it's still... When you're outnumbered and outgunned, it's oftentimes a better bet than not to...
We're outnumbered
Get
and
some
outgunned
help.
almost every single time we get into a mess, and here we are.
Nevada, I have a question.
Hi, go ahead, small fluffy moth creature.
What does the flagship security systems mirror this own ship?
Oh no, the Hammer Eternal is she's a vessel meant for war. We, the Killing Blow, are an interceptor, a hunter, a wolf. Compared to the Hammer Undying, well, let me put it this way, we wouldn't stand much of a chance.
Oh, that does remind me.
I'm
You've established communication with Anarchy's range from this vessel, correct? Yes, Nevada.
Well, currently right now there is the stance of light delay, or time delay, rather.
True. No, the issue is
we are
have
far
you-
enough out of system and in the midst of an asteroid belt that communications take some time. Not to mention,
Well, hold
we
on.
haven't gotten our comms array back online after you smashed it.
No, I don't care about talking to them at the moment. The point is you have spoken with their vessels in the past, yes?
Aye, of course.
Which means that you share their encryption keys for communications, yes?
Who? Where are you
Yarge.
going with this?
We're going to pull their encryption keys so we can get on their comms, so at the very least we know what they're doing.
That's
If you've-
assuming you get our comms dish back up.
We don't need the
So-
comms dish, we just need the computational equipment inside of the vessel that deciphers the information into code that you can read. The comms dish is just a receiver. The computer is what decrypts all this information.
Well, sure, but how are you going to listen in if you can't receive it first?
Maybe
I suppose you
But we-
could use your own ship.
Eventually, we're gonna have to make contact with the rest of the fleet. When we do, we can spread the encryption codes throughout any friendly vessels and completely breach all of the communications networks of the hostiles.
That's where I was trying to go with my thought.
The point
Tim
is,
Tom
just having
also
the ability
raises-
to get into the enemy comm net on a whim is something I want desperately, and I'm sure that everyone here can agree that's not a terrible thing to have access to.
Tim Tom also raises his hand. So, another thing, right? Do you guys have like an SOP, say if a communications network is compromised?
What are you talking
I'm sorry,
about?
what?
So, for instance,
I don't know even like what you're talking about.
SOP, standing operating procedure. So, in like if, for instance, in military
so like
stuff,
a plan if it gets compromised.
yeah, like with
Well, of
us, like,
course.
if this channel gets jammed, we go to this, secondary, tertiary, primary, or all that jazz. It's like,
What
We
refined operating machine would not have backup plans? Of course we do.
well, what if we were to use the whole, bring a fleet here, and we have their encryption keys? How often do they update how often are the encryption keys updated?
Well, that depends.
The systems of old used to do it once every 30 seconds.
Because if we have their working encryption keys, we go get help, and then we start making a loud ass racket on every frequency that they're able to use, and we jam out their communications, they can't talk.
Not only
They
that,
have no comms. Yeah, sure, they're gonna know something's up pretty quickly, but they're gonna know something up when an entire fleet pops into the system. But you knock out their communications,
false SOSs, false enemy sightings, false retreat orders. We could funnel anything they want. Worst case scenario, they can't distinguish the chaff from what's actual chatter.
yeah.
Best
or
case scenario, maybe some of them take our bait, and some units flee the system, run off on wild goose chases, or maybe even start turning and firing on each other. depending
Or,
on how
you could
absolutely
also
foolish
just-
they are.
static out their entire communications network, and then they can't talk. That's also an option as well.
I think the false reports would be more effective on trying to disorganize.
If we were to do this staticking, that would also eliminate our comms as well.
Unfortunately, yes. The only downside to jamming is you jam yourself unless you have a specific frequency that is available that is not specific to your jamming. Which, if you had, say, like a broad spectrum analyzer, you could analyze the various radio frequencies, LiDAR frequencies, and the like, identify it, and then thus turn your systems over to that.
For
I
a
would
doctor, you
rather
seem
not
to-
see our fleets degenerate into a chaotic mess. And even if we left a frequency open, what guarantees that they wouldn't switch to that one as well, and then be back to square one?
Well, that's why I'm suggesting that we only target their encrypted channels and don't use static. We use planned sleights of hand, diversions, and false reports. Try
As
to let
long
them
as we
on
can make
for-
it. As long as we can make it to where they can't trust their eyes or their ears, that should be suitable enough.
Exactly.
I can set up some programs that would mimic those reports.
Programs, software. He turns and looks at you, but you need hardware. What exactly would you need to craft these beacons?
I mean, realistically, all you would need is a receiver, a transceiver, and a system to identify and transmit, and
We're
loop
also
whatever you're
talking
trying
about
to,
big distances, so we need high-powered stuff.
Well,
So
that's
Indeed.
true.
Yeah,
Wait,
this is where my expertise
isn't there
falls
communication
off the cliff.
buoys? Isn't there communication buoys all around the system?
There were, however, by using them we may have already compromised them.
yes, we barely got this one by reporting one ship out here. And when we return without that specified ship, there's going to be some other troubles as well.
Okay, so step-by-step plan. Let's lay it out first. What are we doing?
Well, I definitely think we should do a rescue of the royal family. Get them out. I don't
While
think
running.
I don't think we should attack the capital ship. I don't think we should do it. I think that's a bad idea. It's gonna get people killed, or it's gonna get us killed. Don't do it.
Also,
Go
for this-
down.
for the survivors. Having the royal family alive would be a great morale boost.
That is true.
Incentivize them to fight harder. And
We
more
rescue the
ferocity.
royal family. We go to House Mortis. Looks over to Nevada. Miss Nevada, this vessel is fast. You said it's an interceptor. Means it can. It's goes fast in a straight line. Probably capable of deploying a variety of countermeasures. So if they decide to fire back as we attempt to flee, it should be far easier for this vessel to do that, right?
Should be true, yes.
So we could use this ship, intercept with the fleet, and Nevada, you tell them the truth. We intercepted an enemy vessel, exchanged fire. The vessel, and he kind of does a little finger quotes, was the enemy vessel was destroyed. From that point on, we can get a drop ship, deploy to the surface, rescue the family, and while we're doing that, we can send an encrypted message. We do have communications with Neve. State our plans. We are going to be rescuing the royal family. We get on the ground. We rescue them. We haul helter skelter back. We looks over to fucking looks around like we leave the fleet. Warp out. Get help.
Yeah.
I mean, we could use the communications buoys, possibly if they're not compromised, to trigger a series of false flag operations or misinformation. Because, like I said, we have their encryption keys. We can monitor theirs. We can send out false reports, and that could be a part that we could play when we return back into system, or we could. Because when we return into system, we could play it up as, hey, we got more than one fleet coming in, or something along those lines. I don't necessarily know how to do the whole, psychological warfare part, so I'm not even going to touch that. I'm going to leave that to the professionals. We come by, maybe they get dispersed, and we can take them apart piecemeal, and then sink their battleship, as they say.
Okay, Nevada, where exactly are the comms on the hammer?
On the hammer? I don't know.
I was
Alright, you're
thinking
just
of
gonna have to figure
hijacking
out-
that with a worm that would activate when I tell it to, so that it could, well, when we're ready.
Wouldn't you need physical access to that system?
That's why I was asking where the comms were.
I
No, I
don't
would-
necessarily feel comfortable with shunting you out an airlock to go, play hokey pokey with a enemy comm array.
That's why you're
Fair
not
enough.
looking for the comm array, you're looking for the communications terminal. The comm array is just a receiver. It doesn't encrypt the data, it just receives it. You need to find the comm officer's terminal, and then you need to work backwards from there.
And that's why I think we shouldn't touch the ship. We need to either drive it away or destroy it with a fleet of our own. They attack the home planet. They attack the home system. I mean, at this point, an all-out conflict is kind of inevitable. I mean, we could sit here and wait until the information blackout from the system eventually gets someone's attention.
Why do I feel like we're losing progress instead of gaining it?
We probably are.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I feel like I had a nice, good, concise plan about 5 minutes ago, and now I don't know so much. Rescue the royal family, steal the encryption keys from the killing blow, then after that we continue on as usual, bore Anarchy's reign, take it over, hijack their systems, destroy their comms network, and call in the fleet. We can throw ifs, buts, whats, and maybes all we want, but right now the goddamn planet's burning, and for every second we spend fucking twiddling our thumbs and going, what if, we get closer to losing.
No plan survives first contact.
Zacharias.
We have a solid set of instructions that we can follow, and we improvise if something goes wrong.
Zacharias this entire time has had his data jack, a small cable that extends out from the side of his head, plugged into the nav table and has been cycling through information a bit faster than you all can, read. And finally he looks up and disconnects it. It should take about 4 days to journey to Castellum, 9 if we're careful to sabotage the comms buoys, and about 12 days to get to House Mortis territory.
Us getting on that ship is not going to be a good idea.
We're not going to the ship.
Better plans, Doctor, because all I've heard you do
Yes.
is criticize and not offer alternatives.
Yes. We use the killing blow to get near the planet. We rescue the royal family and use the killing blow to evacuate. We get to House Mortis, we get their help, we come back, and we kick their ass.
Kick their ass is not exactly a defined plan either, if you haven't noticed.
And your plan is to go storm the bridge of a fucking enemy ship in the middle of a fleet? That's not a good idea,
Storm.
Enkos.
Storm is the wrong word. Infiltrate's the one you're looking for. Either way, it
maybe
doesn't
if
matter.
we
We
infiltrate
can
it
debate and talk about this while we get on our way to go ahead and save the royal family. We've got a few days in between now and then.
I shall be returning to the Tempest Born. I expect you all to have your affairs in order before we set off. Good day, gentlemen. And he turns and walks off. Zacharias kind of clasps his hands. So, do we go ahead and get going, or...?
If we have a course set, then we should take it. It sounds like at the very least, we have one decision that is being made for us. The royal family has to be rescued. First and foremost.
Well, if I have any hope of being pardoned, yes.
Well, and then in this case, at least we have one avenue that does not allow us any breathing room for doubt.
So, Nevada turns around, walks over to a captain's chair, turns it over so she can put one leg up on it, and just starts yelling at the Dominion crewmen, who all are just taken by shock. Alright, you salty dogs. You gotten Zach's nav data. Let's plot a course and be on our way. And then she jumps in her seat, and, begins to do her captaining thing.
We can sit here and deliberate until the stars burn out, but we can't plan for the unexpected. We can just do the best we can and take things as they come.
If I can get through most of the ship undetected, I could hijack the comm station from underneath the paneling like I tried here again.
Look,
Either
I'm
way-
not gonna say you're a subpar stealth operative because you've proven you at least know what you're doing, but that is a tall order.
Either way, in the meantime, Yoris, you just need to work about making sure that you can make sense of the communications equipment on this ship first.
That
This should
I
be
can
simple. As for the rest of us,
Yari's just going to go over to the communications array and start.
I'll be back. I'm gonna go use the restroom.
Just dissecting it, plugging himself into the machine and just breaking things down, trying to
So
figure out.
you go over to the comms terminal. Go ahead and give me a computer's check to run a diagnostic and figure out what's all wrong here.
All right.
So, the problem with the comms array is that the comms array is missing.
What?
Like, from the ship.
Well,
Its residue parts are scattered in space in the asteroid field.
of- I was thinking more of the comm protocols and trying to figure that out as well.
Well, sure, you've got the, if you go ahead and root around, you can seed up the encryption codes that the enemy forces are currently using, but in terms of using this as a functional array, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
have
we're
to have
already-
this discussion. We're gonna have to probably use the dropship for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just need to get the encryption keys.
Alright, well, you have them. The current ones, anyway.
Alright.
As for a lack of plan, lack of defined plan, let's be honest. I think all of us know that our most well-played lands, or well-laid plans, God, I'm so nervous that I can't even talk straight, typically go about as well as you can expect, and when we wing it, we seem to come out better. So I don't know, maybe this is the best way to do this.
Ankos, you have a plan. The fact that it's not detailed cover to cover isn't a problem. I've gone on
right.
too many missions that went sideways and pretend like there's only one surefire way to do an operation. Again, we follow the plan, something goes wrong, we improvise.
You can see that in his body language on his face, your words seem to take a lot of weight off of him. And Ankos is going to pull his hands off of the holodeck, basically leaning over the table just a little bit, noticing that as he pulls his hand away, it was shaking ever so slightly. And I'm just gonna say, "Thank you. I'm going to go sit down for a while and think."
Zacharias is going to kind of walk up and get in position behind Tim Tom and call Yalreach to his attention. If we are going to be using the dropship for any surface operations or space-to-surface operations, we're going to need to fix that hole in the front. The loss of my crew is horrific, but we have Dominion crewmen here to fill our needs.
Yari nods and I am gonna need a suit that can fit me.
Huh. So, I'm going to go ahead and transfer us back over to the overview board. I believe that the last EVA suit you used was sized for a gnome, and you had to stick your 4 arms into the 2 armholes.
Yes, I recall that.
So, you go ahead and don your EVA suit and venture out. As soon as you make it to the hangar section, the elevator doors open, and you find that what you would normally see is the vast expanse of the hangar bay. What you currently see is a pressurized, reinforced fabric tube that leads to one of the airlock doors of the dropship. The individuals here, like the ship workers, the crewmen, they have set up a pressurized area from the airlock door of the dropship to the elevator in the killing blow. So if you wanted to access the hangar door, you would have to go through the dropship to get inside of the hangar bay. But if you wanted to go up to the dropship's bridge, you could just follow the tube.
Yari will just follow the tube.
So you get up to the bridge and find that you are looking out of a massive, jagged hole. You hadn't really paid attention to the amount of damage that had happened up here. The whole, bridge viewing port is gone. It's been ruptured. Rounds have torn it asunder. You're not even necessarily certain if this is something that you can do without extensive tools and supports, cranes and the such.
And we have that in this ship, do we not?
You, I imagine, have a rudimentary station set up to fix and maintain, I would say, Probably anywhere from like gargantuan-sized vehicles. The dropship is very large. It is colossal.
Ooh. Yari just going to look through the ship and find somewhere more central where it can reroute all the command structure to.
What do you mean by command structures?
We
I
don't.
mean in a dropship?
Yeah, and drops it. Reroute the command structure of the bridge somewhere deeper into the ship.
So, in order for you to do that, you would have to sacrifice on crew living space. I assume that that is fine by you.
I will check with the crew. Ooh. We
Well,
can fix this.
Most of the crew that you knew and maybe even like gotten to start liking are dead. There are a few left and they are shaken and like mentally drained. The Dominion crewmen don't really give a shit, seeing as how the Killing Blow is now their vessel that they're staying in.
Right? We can repair the bridge another time and undo the routing. But for now, this would be our best option on getting things working. We just need to make sure the bridge is not compromised further into the ship. Nothing more than the bridge is compromised.
Yeah, no, it is, you recall whenever you were heading towards the Killing Blow, the side guns that raked through the dropship's vessel had punctured through the frontal prow plating. This thing is, like, shaped like a wedge and has completely destroyed the bridge. The bridge being this location. However, the hangar bay is fine.
Alright.
I would say hangar bay. The vehicle bay for the dropship.
So, yeah. We can reroute the main controls of the bridge somewhere deeper for temporary purposes, and once we actually get the main bridge repaired again.
Do you want to do that today or later?
We probably want to get that done as soon as possible and get things into a more comfortable position.
Alrighty, so for day one of basically completely retrofitting the dropship's bridge, go ahead and give me an engineering check. You will have aid from the crewmen that are assisting you in this effort, so a +2.
Alright.
In addition, they'll take care of anything heavy that needs to be moved.
Here we go. Yeah!
36. What's wrong?
For a moment, I was thinking natural 20.
Nope. Day one goes pretty well. You strip the bridge of most of its necessary materials and start stripping the living area, putting in the command throne. You haven't gotten to like the wiring electrical portions yet, but in terms of taking apart the systems and putting them inside of the living space and finding appropriate stations for them, it's going well enough. That is what Yareech spends the rest of his day on. Now, as for the other 3 crew members, I believe that you all 3 just said that you wanted to go and, like, rest, right?
I don't think there's anything else of value that I can do at the moment, being a frontline combat character with no real fucking skills outside of combat.
Fair enough. It's been about 3 days. I'd say that you've managed to establish some, like... It's not like anybody told you where your rooms are supposed to be. It's more like you found a bed and fell in it.
Right.
There are individual rooms here on the Killing Blow, and they're actually pretty decently sizable. I imagine each of you will probably be getting your own room, right?
It's a big enough fucking ship that I'd hope so, yeah.
Yeah, then you go ahead and establish your private quarters. I
be right
imagine you could probably spend the rest of the day doing nondescript things, looking at your own equipment, going over things in your head. Is there anything else that you want to do for day one?
he's still a pick. I would like to say, I mean, this kind of falls into the category of nondescript, but I'll say it anyways. I guess I'd like to point out that my character, after going off to more or less brood and sulk, decides that he doesn't really want to be left alone with his thoughts, so he's going to be just helping out odd jobs with the crew, just keeping himself busy throughout the day in mostly trivial ways.
Fair enough. You start helping out the crew, and a lot of people are a bit weirded out by your insistence to help with menial tasks. Like, aren't you one of the agents? Why are you doing the menial stuff? But you barely even have to explain yourself.
Yeah, I'd imagine there's probably going to be like the humorous moment of one of the party like seeing me like walking across a hallway carrying like a 120-pound pneumatic hammer or something.
Oh god. So, I'm going to say you can go ahead and give me a diplomacy check to see how well you ingratiate yourself with the crew workers.
Okay. Oh,
Natural 20 for recording.
that's a 33.
A natural 20 for a total of 33. You manage to bond a little bit somewhat, whether you're actually, like, starting to like them, or it's just them starting to like you for your, well, service with nothing expected in return. With, a pretty, like, tight-knit group of crew workers. Individuals who were, pretty damn attached to each other on the Tempestborn. And once you are done with this manual labor, one of them kind of says to you, just to kind of like break the ice, because they see that your vision is starting to go a bit like fuzzy and cloudy and you're starting to become withdrawn. You know that when we're all finished here, we're all trying to get a little place set up on the Killing Blow for our future recreation.
Alright, tell me what you got in mind. I've been scouting the ship a little bit, maybe I can tell you where the best lounges are. I mean, this is a pirate vessel after all, there's gotta be a cabinet somewhere with some fun juice, huh?
Well, we did find one of their cargo bays has been retrofitted to be a bar of sorts. Sign says Hollow Promise. We were thinking of getting it up and running. What do you think?
Shit, I'll take anything to take my mind off the current events.
So,
yeah,
you follow the group. I'd say it's about 2 women, 3 men, all of them equally, like, dirty menials. You follow them into this area, which essentially is just kind of like a bit drab. The best thing about this location is the fact that there are, like, posters and graffiti. There's kind of like a glowing little neon sign that looks like it's been shattered once upon a time, and a sort of bar deck. And behind that, there appears to be copious amounts of stolen spirits. It's
This reminds me of the little hidey holes and the speakeasies they had back on Axiom. It brings me back.
You were on Axiom.
So I'd like to imagine that probably throughout the day, one of the ways I have established such rapport to this group is asking about their personal lives and giving them out in exchange, like telling them little bits and pieces about like growing up and within the syndicate and Axiom and all that. So
Fair enough.
I like to imagine this is probably not new information to most of them, anyways.
Yeah, fair.
But
They're not going to
are,
question you.
Croatian Romanian, so they definitely didn't grow up in Syndicate territory.
Yeah, they're not going to question you about Axiom. They're probably going to ask, like, what is it like? But in terms of what information you glean from them, they're all Castella miners born and bred. They were conscripted in the military whenever their veins went dry, just to, afford to have, like, food on the table. But they've managed to stay in a tight clique despite being stationed elsewhere, and when opportunities presented themselves, they sort of formed a small team on one ship. That being said, if you want to participate a hand in getting the Hollow Promise up and running, go ahead and give me a engineering check with assistance. So you should have your Operative's Edge, and then an additional +2.
Okay. Alright, so just imagine this with a +2, then... Oh, and never mind, I can add that here.
It should be a total of +7, I think.
Okay. I don't want to use the Echo Gloves for this, because they are out of charge. 9.
A 9. You start setting it up, and it's not very, like, high-end and professional, but among the things that you find from the pirate's stash are a television screen. In the back, in the cargo area, dusted off and locked in some crates that you had to pry open, you found a fucking jukebox. And you managed to get some tables set up. It's starting to look pretty homey. And I imagine, just as you're about to, like, open it for basically the day, like, hang out, just to chill and relax for the rest of your off time on this vessel, one person finds one more discovery. Back in the recesses, like the forgotten sections, somewhere close to where they found the jukebox, there is a dusty-looking arcade cabinet.
You know,
And you wrench this thing out and pull it to the Hollow Promise.
as we like start to kind of stand this place up, I'm gonna ask the crew members, hey, would you guys mind if I invited some people? I know they haven't done shit to help exactly, but they've all been pretty busy today, and I'm
Well,
sure
they're your group, right?
Yeah, they are. I know that you haven't exactly met them. I can guarantee you none of them bite, even though one of them is, I shit you, not a bear. But
One of them, a very large, rotund man with like a stubble face. It can't be too bad. Go ahead and invite him. I'm sure it'll be fine.
so I'm gonna get on my commune, and everyone is gonna receive a text saying, "Hey, I found a place down on the hangar deck. You want to swing by and check it out?"
Okay.
Thumbs up emoji.
The message is going to be curated for each person to try and get them. For Yari to go, there's a bunch of cool old tech down here. For Tim Tom, I'm going to say there's a bunch of booze down here. For 447, I'm going to say,
So
anyway, you want to come down?
so when you curate
Group
it
building
to
exercise. Group building exercises. Want to join in this group?
Team building exercises.
Yeah, there's team building exercise. There's a combat sim down here. An old one.
An old combat.
so when you text Tim Tom, hey, there's a bunch of booze down there, he just kind of goes, no thanks, gave the stuff up.
There's an arcade machine.
What does it have?
What is it?
Question mark.
Why?
You flick through and try to tap it a bit, and given your like shitty engineering check, the monitor flickers to life, and you see a brief glimpse of what looks like a metal helmet with like red goggles before it flickers out, and you're left with like the image of a man in a crouched position holding some kind of like old looking rifle before the whole thing just kind of like dies.
I'm gonna put
you get the feeling.
Still trying to figure it out. It's not exactly playing along. Anyway, come on down. It's a good old time down here, and it's something to think about. That's not the mission.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
At this
At the
point,
end of the day, you're just going to come down to this little bar.
by the
and-
time that you all start to gather, you hear, "Alright, fuckers. Now's the time where we make echo translation. Hold on to your horses." At which point, the whole ship vibrates as sort of almost like a wave passes through its decks. At which point you get the sense that even if you didn't have much time for preparation, the killing blow has made echo translation. You are now deep in the excesses of the extra-dimensional plane.
Alright.
So, you all head to the aptly named Hollow Promise.
Yeah. Yeah,
I imagine by that time, the time that it takes them to get here, Ankos, I will give you one last assisted check as your group of Dominion buddies tries to get this set up proper as soon as they get inside.
Alright, here we go. I'm gonna add that little +2. Please work. 24! That is damn near.
24. You get some crane equipment, you lift the jukebox off of the ground and get it bolted into a central podium that you get a sense it might have been used for, The Killing Blow has a sort of sordid history. You get a sense that this room might have been a fighting pit at one point or time. You get it hooked up right next to some speakers built into the central podium thing. You get the TV mounted, the signs come on, you finally get the arcade cabinet to work. The sign flashes on, and the iconography of the system actually boots up. It is an old retro shooter. It's an AR game, Trenchfoot AR.
Okay, well, looks like
There is...
Looks like I wasn't lying as much as I thought I was when I said there's a combat sim down here.
Yeah, there is a basically a giant like bucket helmet style thing that you pull down over your head, and you seize up an old model rifle, and clearly it's meant to engage you in augmented reality, basically a shooter of sorts. That being said, as soon as most of the group begins walking in, some of the crew members who are already getting pretty fucking, like, blasted or wasted, they're drinking, they're doing whatever. One of them's just like, hey, kick on the jukebox already, I'm getting tired of listening to the ship's ambience.
StarCraft 2!
You hear the jukebox flip open one of the records as somebody presses a button on a remote. And...
Well, I wouldn't have picked this, but it's what they had on Next on Track, but it'll work. It's better to listen to than the creaking of the damn ship, that's for sure.
The rest of the party,
Guys is going to
you walk
tap-
into the Hollow Promise, this little bar filled with stolen spirits for all the crew to engage in.
I'm gonna turn around and greet the party. Welcome to heaven, or the closest thing we got to it. And I'm gonna go ahead and walk behind the counter and start making drinks. I imagine a group of miners probably aren't exactly terribly adept at mixology, and
Most of them, you get a sense that their spirits that they are like mixing or drinking are covered in grease.
yeah.
It can
also,
be more like into motor oil, really.
yeah, these guys probably wouldn't turn their nose up at a fucking tin can of moonshine. I'm throwing together things like fucking gin and tonic, Jack and Coke, and maybe a mimosa every here and there, and it's just. The crowd reception, I'd hope, is pretty good to that.
I imagine this group of rowdy mechanics and miners are all very appreciative at your efforts as Ankos goes behind the counter and starts serving up some drinks. The rest of the party, you walk in, rather, I should just say 447 and Yarreach, because Timothy is absent.
No, I mean, he would eventually come. He said there was a
Okay.
fucking game, he said there was a game cabinet there.
Then yeah, what is your 3 reactions to stepping into this bar? You see a bunch of drunkards just kind of lazing about, sitting at the stools, getting fucking wasted.
What the hell is this place?
As I see him looking around, probably like I remember my excuse for calling him down here. Like, oh yeah, right. Right. So this is a recreation area. I'm sure you're familiar, but that over there, I'm gonna point at the arcade cabinet, is the that retro combat sim I was talking about.
And you see the sign flicker. It says Trenchfoot AR.
Wait a minute!
Trench
Which Trenchfoot is it? Is that Trenchfoot 6 or Trenchfoot 7?
This was a special application. They have comms versions. There was a Trenchfoot 3D. This is Trenchfoot AR. Technically, it's the 3rd in the game series.
Oh man! Oh hey, they got Trenchfoot AR. It's actually a port of the Trenchfoot 3. Not as good as Trenchfoot 6 or even like the infamous Trenchfoot 4, but it's a lot better than Trenchfoot 5.
I'm just gonna start scratching the back of my neck and go. All right.
I shake my head. Real quick, can I roll Profession Soldier to determine if I know what Trenchfoot is?
Press F5 if the music stops playing. Yes, go ahead and give me a untrained medicine check. I will allow
you know
it.
what? That works. We'll do that.
Professional soldier. A
Natural-
natural 20 for a total of 20. You know that it's a medical condition based around, like, I think it's like a foot fungus that can end up rotting your feet
Trench
off.
foot is what happens whenever your feet
Yeah.
basically are.
I know what
Oh,
trench
they,
foot is.
in
they sop
water
up
and-
water.
I know
Oh,
what
God,
trench
they
foot
start
is.
to
The question
crack
is, does
and bleed.
447 know? And
Oh
apparently
no!
the
There's
answer
no
is
way
yes.
he wouldn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like scratch the back of my neck and go, all right, I kind of lied. It's not a combat sim; it's a video game.
Why the
But
hell is it called trench foot?
I don't know because civvies think that kind of stuff is hardcore and cool or something. I'm not sure.
There's
Well-
nothing hardcore or cool about your foot falling off.
Well,
Oh no,
either
no,
way,
trust me.
to explain myself, I lied. It's a fucking video game, a poorly named video game, but a video game, and I just wanted to get everybody out of their rooms for a night.
Huh. Wow.
Try not to
I mean,
run
to
off.
be honest,
please.
I didn't really...
I think a night of socialization would be good for everybody after that tense morning we had.
I didn't think they made Trenchfoot games anymore. Wait, no, they're still on the annual release schedule and the season passes and
One of the crew members walks
Yeah.
up to the party conglomerate and goes, "Hey, are you a fucking bear?"
Tim Tom looks down. Yes, I am a bear.
Oh, that's fucking wicked. And he starts
wasn't-
downing the rest of his bottle and walks off to another table.
You're gonna hear Ankos shout up. I wasn't lying when I said literal
You know, I
bear.
imagine what was his reaction to when not only, "Hey, are you a fucking bear?" "Yes, I am." How does he respond to that by the voice being planted into his mind
Oh yeah,
directly?
good point.
No.
Yeah, he looked a bit shooken up, but after which he just like drowned his surprise in alcohol and just said like fucking wicked and walked off.
You're
That's
just
fucking
going.
sick, bro.
You're just going to climb onto one of the stools and look at what they have to drink. Can they make honey water here?
Oh
I
God!
imagine as you say that, the lady crew member just goes, "Oh, like honey water. Oh yeah, I got something for that." And she pulls off one of the bottles on her table. She's not at the bar and just hands it down. There you go. Here's you some honey water.
Yeah, he's gonna tilt his head and kind of whiffed it with his. I imagine his antenna is probably more of the olfactory area.
It smells like alcohol.
Oh.
This woman is actively offering you booze.
Yarge will say
Like
thanks.
some mead.
Yarge says thanks and jumps down carrying the bottle.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Taking
Are
the
you
bottle?
Are you partaking?
No, he's not partaking.
Fair enough. You're just walking around with a bottle.
He
So-
didn't want to be rude.
If I ever have a kid, I'm gonna give him a bottle of Jack Daniels, tell him he's not allowed to drink it, and he can just carry it around.
So I'm gonna go ahead. You're gonna see me pull out a glass from under the counter, and add probably some synthetic orange juice to it, and put it on the counter and yell, "Hey Tim Tom, I got for you a virgin screwdriver over here if you're not if you want it."
Oh, no thank you. Citrus beverages really upset my stomach. I appreciate the offer though.
Yarge
No,
is
you're
going to
not
go
fun.
up and say, I'll trade you to Angus.
Huh?
He's going to take the orange drink.
Yeah, I'll just hand it to you. I mostly poured it up as a gag anyways. It's a
Yeah.
virgin screwdriver. It's just literally orange juice. So,
It's just fucking like
Yes.
synthetic orange juice.
yeah.
It's the equivalent of Mio and water, like orange Mio and water.
God,
And-
so what is... I mean, clearly Yarich, Tim Tom, and Ankos are gabbing it up. What is 447 doing?
447 is staring daggers at Trenchfoot AR.
Do you
You know,
dare
I-
approach the arcade cabinet?
My
Is this the start of 447's video game arc?
Profession video game. If only you still had it.
Yeah. My heavy, lumbering, power-armored steps approach the cabinet, and I give it a look over, trying to figure out how to operate this thing.
You see the blinking screens just kind of show off clearly in a bright manner. Let me go ahead and, I suppose I will just go ahead and share the concept. Here you go. Show to all players. You see that clearly displayed is a very large, cumbersome man in like a bronzish armor holding a rifle who has a katana at his side with a large, I mean massive tank behind him. On the front screen, it shows displayed, insert 10 credits to start.
I approach the cabinet and, so basically the way it works is we have a cred stick that's basically like a credit card, more or less?
Yes,
Okay.
basically.
I'm gonna produce my cred stick and figure out where to stick it in this thing.
You go ahead and find the slot, and it goes ahead and accepts your card. It sticks about like an inch of the way in. It deducts the 10 credits, and then the helmet lights up. A bit of dust shakes off of it.
I pause for a minute. Who the hell's getting the credits?
Probably nobody. Maybe you could ask Yori if you can hack the damn thing to make it free. I doubt it's even charging your card.
So, I see the helmet shake loose and come free, and I approach the helmet and hold it in my hands.
It is just like the helmet of the man that is currently on the front screen.
I see. I let go of the arcade helmet, and facing the cabinet, so pretty much everybody here can only see the back of my head. You hear a hissing sound as my helmet depressurizes, and
Tim Tom was mid-bite into like a potato chip, stops, looks over.
you look over
God.
just in time to see like a light fucking puff of steam come out from under my helmet as it is lifted off and over and off of my head. You see 447 is basically completely bald. He might be starting to grow back some hair, but it's in the very, very early stages. His skin is pale fucking nearly ivory white, and at the base of his skull is some kind of microchip that's very obvious. He has surgical scars and battle wounds there too, but they faded over time.
You're going to hear a glass shatter as Anko sees that the thing that got 447 to take his fucking helmet off was an arcade game.
Oh, but Ankos, you were in the room when I took my helmet off once before and swapped it for a fucking wooden bucket. This ain't that
You
different.
explicitly said you did it so fast that no one could see it.
You can see the back of my head, basically, and that's it.
Ankos.
I slipped the fucking, the trench foot AR helmet on over my head. And I put my real helmet next to my foot.
So I would like, as he goes over and he starts playing the game, I want to roll a stealth check
Oh my god.
to just casually walk up, grab his helmet, and walk away.
The helmet is
God.
right next to my foot.
18.
Perception.
Lord. As you come near me, I fucking step on your foot. Nice try.
And he kind of put like
He turns and rotates his helmeted head, and you see the helmet of the video game protagonist.
he kind of puts his hand on your shoulder. Enjoying the game there, bud?
From your perspective, you see Tim Tom
This is the first time.
outlined.
This is the first time in a long time you've heard my voice without some kind of electronic filter. By the way.
You
Yari.
see Tim Tom outlined by the game's AR like setup, and then your vision starts to like clip over at the edges as like hexagonal discs begin to.
Yarich, in his head and his head alone, quick, while I have him distracted,
Oh my.
get his helmet.
God.
Yarich alone hears that.
He's already caught you.
You're not gonna be able to get it. I'm
Damn
not
it.
rolling for this. You're just staying out of this.
At this point, I imagine 447 has secured his helmet even further.
Yeah,
Maybe even like
if
clipped
there's
it
like
to
a
his
way
belt
to
or
fucking attach it
something.
to the back of my armor, I need that.
Yes, something
I was
to
so
that
hoping
effect.
to have that word.
You tried.
I tried, but I did not succeed.
It would have been funny.
It would have been funny.
Regardless, you see a like long narrative. Do you even bother reading it?
I'll pay attention. I believe this is some kind of primitive combat sim, so I want context.
It's basically briefing you and saying that you are John Trench, a soldier participating in a war against the fucking what are they? Fucking Tenebrous Imperium. You are fighting a specific Germanic tribe with the intent to rid your planet of its occupation. And then it throws you into the character John Trench as you hear the music begin in this arcadey fashion, you know, the as you start running through and are allowed free reign.
Fucking E1M1 theme.
Basically. And it runs you through as you start killing, basically the effect of supernatural, like, Germanic tribals in black uniforms with red armbands.
Every time I kill one of them, John Trench says something like, "Blow it out your ass."
Come get some. Bitchin'.
How well do I do at this game?
Go ahead and... I would say this would be fucking hilarious. Give me a profession soldier check.
Oh my god. My skills are transferable.
They, in fact, at least the combat ones are. And, you take, well, for the first time in who knows how fucking long, top score on the first chapter of Trenchfoot. You kill a shitload of these, like, Germanic tribals, and get to the second stage. I imagine 447 is enveloped in the Trenchfoot game.
Yeah, at this point...
You do very well.
At this point, anybody who attempts to fucking communicate with me is ignored.
Oh!
I think he likes the game though. Although I think though Trenchfoot 6 is a little better though.
Who are you talking to, Tim Tom?
Yeah, as you two are talking, you can hear from near the arcade cabinet. Get the hell off my planet, you damn tenebrous bastards.
You look down through the rudimentary gas mask of one of these Germanics and see yourself, John Trench, reflected in the glass. Upon which John Trench says, "Damn, I'm looking good," and continues murdering people.
I like this guy.
Alright. The rest of the party is, I assume, Ankos serving drinks to your friends and probably getting toasted yourself. Yarich enjoying orange juice while just admiring the sights and sounds. And Tim Tom, what the hell are you doing?
I imagine as the night progresses, Tim Tom's gonna find a booth, sit down, and start looking at his data pad.
What are you looking at?
His CAT scans to find out how much time he has left before the growing tumor inevitably kills him.
Oh, yeah, your own medical diagnosis. I imagine as you do so, you receive a prompt flare-up from your datapad. It's actually alerting you to the condition of Yarich's mentor, Mr. Phoenix Comet. You hit it, and you go ahead and receive a message in text format from the doctors that are currently aboard the Tempest-born that this client's condition is starting to nosedive. Like, his medical prognosis is starting to reach, like, instead of being days before death, it's starting to become hours.
And while you're looking at this dramatic news, you hear, "I'll kill each and every last one of you."
To the tune of country music.
Tim Tom or he's not on on our ship. He's on the other ship, right?
Nope, they are 2 ships locked in the Echo, transferring
Holy
in
shit, there's
a
fucking
fleet style.
chainsaw in this game.
So at that point, Tim Tom's going to turn off his phone, put it up. Ankos and Ankos alone will hear, I have some things I have to take care of. Can you please keep Yarich distracted? And he leaves.
I'm gonna raise an eyebrow at this, and I guess keep an eye on Yarich for the rest of the night to make sure he doesn't, I don't know, do anything, I guess? Make sure that he just sits there enjoying his drink.
Yeah, the moth is just sitting on orange juice.
After he leaves, I'm gonna get on my
right.
text pad and I'm gonna text Tim Tom and just say, what the fuck do you mean by that?
Whoa, John Trench has a katana?
And it just says, Phoenix vitals plummeting. Man has hours left.
I'm gonna text him and say, don't you think that one of our only other medically proficient party members should be there for that? Or at the very least should be there to say his final words?
Tim Tom, you hear Tim Tom, or you see Tim Tom type, need to check. I will try to do something. If that doesn't work, I'll have him come over.
You're gonna get a simple K back in response.
I just cut that guy in fucking half. Are these things sharp in real life?
The lights are just blaring from Trenchfoot. It's just a constant tirade of like arcadey noises and sounds and gunshots and slicing and screaming.
This is the best fucking combat sim I've ever engaged with.
Oh no. Your dopamine levels are getting dangerously high, 447. Timothy, as you walk through the corridors and steel metal of the killing blow, you come to the realization that if these 2 ships are locked in the Echo, the only way that they'll be able to do a transfer of crew members is if they both leave.
Oh. So, like, we can't...
They're traveling in loose coordination right now, but you leaving the ship, even on a shuttle, is a horrifically dangerous idea.
Okay, I thought we were, like, together on, like, attached together, like, via an umbilical or something.
You are not attached together, no.
Oh. So basically retcon that conversation back to
Yeah.
you're just gonna have to get
If I wouldn't have known
I
that...
I imagine as you're walking, you figure that out.
Okay. Tim Tom just kind of texts back to the medical officer. Please send a report of. Please send like a report of medical shenanigans.
You receive a call which opens up into a video feed of the doctor. Hello, is this is Tim Tom, correct?
Yes, this is Dr. Timothy Thomas.
Is that music playing? Regardless, yes, your patient. He turns over and he finds a good place to set it up, because keep in mind, it's like his personal device and it's kind of uncleanly to bring that into an operating theater. But he brings it to like an observation area and allows you to just watch over. Meanwhile, he sends you reports of his condition and how it's going. From what you can tell, go ahead and give me... You're not anywhere near him, but go ahead and give me a perception check and a medicine check.
Perception check, 17. Medicine check.
That was a profession check, but I think they're both wisdom, so I'll just give you it. From the perspective of the observer, he almost looks like he's getting better, sitting in that operational theater. Although he's a bit, like, drained, he looks physically better. Like, a couple of days have passed. His wounds seem better than you last remember them, but his medical reports are just, like, spiking down rapidly. Like, all of his critical vitals are just dropping. You're not certain if he will make it through the night.
Tim Tom asks, like I'm assuming like blood pressure dropping, blood ox, all that shit.
Yeah, the doctor is doing his best to respond to you, and for the most part, he actually is pretty attentive because he does have mental augmetics that allow him to access technology that's around him or access his personal device without touching it. So he does his best to fill you in while he concentrates on doing whatever he can, supporting his vitals, trying to get his blood pressure back up. It looks like they're dropping all across the board.
Do you think there's anything you can do?
They're trying. That's all they have to say.
Alright.
Do you just continue to watch?
I continue to watch for about a couple of minutes to kind of like gain a better understanding of the situation and like basically figure out what the medics are doing, that what the doctors there are doing to try to stabilize him. The theoretic go through.
From your perspective, they are doing everything that they feasibly can do, but it looks like it almost seems medically like all of these procedures that you put him through, they would have worked if his body just didn't give out.
I
would
have
say,
a thought of what's going on, but I'm not going to say it.
As a couple of minutes pass, eventually as you're walking down the corridor, you start to hear a ringing in your ears.
Tim Tom kind of like
Son.
Tim Tom kind of puts his finger in like kind of like there's the whole like, man, I think I got some earwax in there. It's kind of like, Tim Tom sends up a text message to RH. Hey,
As you go to pull out your phone, you wake up. You are on the ground. Your world is spinning. That ringing has gotten very, very loud. And there are about 3 people around you trying to, like, assess your condition. You feel drained. Like something horrifying happened, a sense of dread creeping upon you. You feel like you've been running and lifting for hours. But you haven't. You were just walking down the corridor. And the sudden realization hits you. You just had a seizure.
Oh dear. Tim Tom looks over to one of the fellows. Hey, is there a medical office here on the ship?
None that are set up right, but we can... What, do you need to go?
Tim Tom kind of like slowly brings himself up.
You're having trouble even, like, getting up. I imagine with the assistance of these 3 individuals, you are barely managing to, like, make a step or 2. You're having to, like, barely balance on shaking legs.
Tim Tom tries to, like, pull out his phone and, like, it fumbles to the ground. Hey, can you pick that up? The password is, 1214.
Yeah, sure, mate. He reaches over and picks it up and hands it over to you, and kind of like holding it up to your face, he presses the buttons for you.
Yari, or not Yari, Enkos, you get a phone call.
Answers it. What do you want, Tim Tom?
Hey, yeah, you're not gonna like this. You might want to go ahead and just get Yarich over here. And I just had a seizure in the hallway.
I'm gonna put down the glasses I was cleaning. I'm gonna walk over to Yarich and say, "It sounds like the doctor needs medical attention. We should go attend to him."
There's a
Yeah,
lady in this game who calls me What the fuck does that mean?
I imagine that the lady in your ear is the comms officer, just kind of like blaring orders, giving you relevant information, and even doing like snarky quirps on the side.
Yeah.
Quips. Yeah, there.
So Yari just gonna get up. Head
447
out.
is still unaware of what's happening in the world around him.
He'll find his way to Tim Tom.
I imagine.
yeah,
is
we're
both Ankos and Yarich leaving?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Seeing as how we have a greater concentration in the hallway as opposed to the Hollow
Yeah.
Promise, your night of drinking and having fun is cut abruptly short.
Except for 447, who is
Except for
not gonna praise any
447,
of this.
who is left just kind of like he's left draped in the game of Trenchfoot.
I can't wait for him to finish and take the helmet off and be like, where the hell did everybody go?
You're the only person still having a good time at this point. I'm going to leave you to your fun.
Alright, cool.
Well,
So-
actually, no, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to tap you. I'm going to tap you on the shoulder as we leave.
You are
And-
tapping on power armor. Do I feel this?
No.
If I tap harder.
I imagine that you are tapping on a solid metal shell, and there's a good chance that 447 is moving. Hell,
I
I would
ball my hand
say-
into a fist. Instead of tapping, I go tunk 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 on your shoulder
yeah, I imagine
come on,
as you do so,
like a fucking door.
447, your brain might intercept this as like a game signal, and you might
Oh, no.
turn around and let's just see how this works. Can you go ahead and give me a punch, a hammer fist?
A hammer fist?
Yeah,
Holy
we're gonna do it at
shit.
reduced damage.
Oh,
but
God.
yes.
I just want you to know, Hooper, this was not my idea. I am sorry.
It's fine.
I would ask for a perception roll. Then
You know what? Yeah, can I do
Yeah,
perception?
go for a perception check.
Yeah, I don't want to just fucking punch Ankos full on in my power armor. That's fucked. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh.
10. You hear the screaming in the game, you turn over and you see some of those Germanic bastards approaching on your position, and you just wrench over quick as a fucking, like, just on a dime.
Dispatch, I'm being flanked.
What's your AC?
My AC is. Give me a second. I was doing a thing.
It's better
probably,
than that.
It's
You feel sudden resistance from your power armor, and Ankos, you feel boom as the power armored man like bumps into you full force. At this point, you realize that there was someone standing next to you, 447.
yeah. You're gonna hear a, ah, and I'm gonna like. Not in pain, but the breath has been taken out of me as you probably hit me square in the chest. I wasn't expecting it. You just didn't.
I quickly fucking reset.
It's not like he was going to hit you.
I,
Yeah.
It's like he like contorted
Yeah.
and slammed into you.
I quickly reset the helmet to its factory default, take it off, and put my real helmet on.
I imagine he turns to face away from Ankos despite not
Yeah.
seeing him.
I'm facing the fucking cabinet.
Yes,
There's
of
a
course.
random. I imagine
my
like.
intention is to get out of the game, so I'm restoring the fucking helmet to facing the way it should.
You
See,
leave
I imagine there's
Trenchfoot
some
AR
random-
behind.
There's some random like crewman that saw 447's face, and it's like you just look over, and then suddenly
I'm
there's a
not
stone
describing
statue
his
that
face
wasn't.
until you guys actually see it.
Yeah, and then no, there's a random crewman. He saw your face, and then all of a sudden there's a new statue just sitting right next to the arcade cabinet.
So,
Whoa.
as soon as my real helmet is on, I turn around to see who I fucking hit.
Ankos.
Oh.
He looks distressed, which is annoying,
Detective,
considering like this was a good game.
My apologies.
You're fine. The doctor had a seizure in the hallway, and Yarich went out to go check on him. Just letting you know that we're all stepping out for a minute in case you wanted to check on him.
Alright, I'm right behind you.
So I'm gonna leave the bar and
I'm gonna
go find
get some
Yarich.
water real quick.
Also, I've been-
doing
I-
the same thing.
Because I am really bad with photo editors, I spent the last, like, 20
My
minutes trying
God.
to make that
I
meme.
thought that
there
was
we
just
go.
a genuine meme.
No, I made that!
No,
That
I
looks
thought
like a
you
fucking
found. Yeah, I was
meme.
about to say, I thought you found
No.
that. That looks good.
It's so hard trying to fucking deal with the fucking...
It looks like a Chad version of the Terminator.
Holy shit.
Yeah, imagine that with a drop-down helmet and one of those, you know those, like, pads that people run on in, like, the VR setups?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ball tracks.
One of those.
Holy shit. Awesome.
This is the best combat sim I've ever played.
Yeah, I'm going with Zankos.
Oh, I thought you guys were getting water.
Oh shit, yeah, I should.
Yeah, in real life, they're getting water.
I should probably do that too. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go get water real quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go use the restroom.
I guess we should take a little intermission then.
Just a little bit. It won't take long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and, let's see, I've probably got something to drink. What do you think of the Hollow Promise, assuming you get to spend more time there?
I like it. I really hope that this won't be the only time we get to be in here.
Oh, trust me,
It's
you've got 4 days to go to Castellum, you got 9 days to go out through the asteroid field and sabotage the comm buoys, and then you've got 12 days to go to fucking House Mortis, so...
right. Did you like
That's-
have this planned, or was this just completely off the cuff?
This is sort of my way of making the Killing Blow feel a bit more lively, and, you can consider it spur of the moment, but I did do a little bit of preparation on the side. However, I didn't plan out you making it or anything.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, man, this was like ready to go for that diplomacy nat 20.
Yeah, with
Shit.
the fucking... the ambience tracks, the country.
I know. I was like, shit. He is good at finding assets quickly.
I've got a couple more fun surprises for tonight's session. The Hollow Promise and Tim Tom having a seizure was one of them. Two of
Hey,
them.
question. Did I
Yes.
get any sort of like information on as to say how quickly those simple tumors are gonna fucking take Tim Tom out yet?
You get a sense that this is something that there is no record of people suffering from your kinds of afflictions. At best, people with this stage of cancer should already be dead.
Oh, Levi. Also, this is something I forgot about. I've actually made an updated version of my profile picture for
Oh, yeah,
my
go
character
ahead.
token art. I made a better illuminated picture of Orion, same character and everything.
Oh,
Do you wanna
cool. Yeah,
replace
give me a
his art
second,
with
I'll
that?
swap it out.
It's a little bit easier to see.
Yeah, that's fine. I can swap it out real quick. I have all of your tokens.
Very nice.
And
Alright, I have
those-
returned.
Do you want like
What,
the
that
version of it
in
that
here?
doesn't have the circle on it, so you could change my
Yeah, you can throw me
character
both.
sheet one? Okay.
Your biography too.
Let me make this. I'll go ahead and crop this one to the correct size. Just give me 1 second here. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. And then here is the non-circular version.
You can go ahead and port that in here. If you don't mind, I'm going to crop that even further.
I figured I probably wouldn't have the right dimensions outright, but
Yeah, it's fine. I'll fix it. Digital, Foundry Assets, NPCs. Open this and Properties. And that is about details. Alrighty, I'll try and get something similar. It might cut off a little bit at his elbows, but it should be fine. Alright. Save as, foundry assets, data. NPCs, Orion to portrait. Okay, and then go into here. Orion. Oh well, I didn't get the one that I was intending to do, but it's fine. Token, appearance, and then swap that out. Alright, you should be fully fixed.
Okay, very nice.
Alright, so we're all here?
That I think
I'm here.
we are. Oh, Matt.
Matt?
Sounds like Matt.
I'm here.
All right.
Okay. So I imagine as the crew is intending to, like, make it to your position, it won't take them that long. However, Timothy, you start to see, rather, what you suspect hallucinate, almost like a mist-like trail spiraling out in front of you. It disappears as the rest of the party arrives. The crew members who are already, like, helping Timothy, like, see you and start pleading to you to help him because he's a bear. He is very heavy.
I will do what I can to help Timothy on his way to the
Yeah.
medical facility.
As
I'll either help
unathletic
carry
as I
him,
am.
or I'll fucking kind of do that thing where I throw one of his arms over my shoulders and like act as a crutch.
The medical facility, if we're gonna call it that on the Killing Blow, is practically non-existent. It's like a medical deck with dirty beds, like salvage supplies. It looks like this place has been ransacked. However, you know, you do have something on the dropship if you care to try and navigate your way there.
We'll try that. I'm going to, I'd like to roll athletics to attempt to help kind of carry or guide Tim Tom to the med bay on the dropship.
As he starts to head that way, Timothy, you see the mists for a moment again, spiraling into a corridor to your right, before they fade away. And as you continue on your way to the dropship...
As I see it, like, go down the right corridor, 447, you hear, this right. Take this right.
I'll humor him and go that way.
Alright, you continue going down that way, and as you follow the mists, they continue to go out and in from your perspective, but they are leading you somewhere. They are leading you to the food storage areas of the ship. Now, it takes you around 5 or 10 minutes, and as you get there, you start feeling really, really bad. But you make it to the deep freeze portion of the ship, where all of the crew members dragged the bodies from the combat before.
Oh.
What the hell are we doing here, Tim? You fucking hungry or something?
I imagine, like, as you say that, there's a slight static popping you hear, and you just see Tim Tom drooling a little bit.
Yeah, with the static popping, you see that the mist from your perspective is basically flowing out from yourself into all of these different body bags.
Tim Tom is going to... I imagine... Does Tim Tom have, like, that understanding of See, I imagine at this point, right?
Yes.
Tim Tom is going to like take a step or try to take a step towards one of them. And I imagine in a scene of what would probably horrify Ankos 447.
If you're unzipping one of the body bags, you see the fresh, mutilated corpse of one of the ship workers.
Doctor, what the hell are you doing?
It has been freezing over the past, 3 days.
See, the problem is, I don't know if at this
The question you mean to ask is, do I know that I'm being goaded to eat these?
yeah,
You feel
do I-
strangely drawn to them for certain.
Doctor, what the fuck are you doing?
Tim Tom?
Tim Tom looks back at you guys, and you just see this bloodshot eye staring at you.
My hand is
Yeah, are you
over
just
my
gonna
revolver.
walk
He
backwards?
looks more like a bear than a person right now.
I don't think it's again.
You tear into this thing, and you all watch as Timothy stops resembling the person that you knew and devolves into a wild animal that is now desecrating and eating the bodies of the dead.
Okay.
I'm gonna start backing away.
Can I roll
Is there a-
a check to try to figure out what the fuck is going on here? I know as a human, like as a player, I know, but like 447 probably is a little fucking confused.
Yeah, Yarge probably doesn't even.
I
Fully-
imagine you're left from your character's perspectives. If you're
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
are you trying to understand if this is something beyond Tim Tom's control? He doesn't look very in control of himself right now.
I am
that's for
immediately
certain.
looking. I am
I
immediately
kinda wanna
eyeballing
roll
the area
intelligence
around
to
me.
realize this is like a fucking aspect thing.
Yeah, go for it, I guess.
I'm rolling perception to see if there's a door that I can close to lock
Yarge
him
will
in if we
roll
have to.
intelligence for aspect.
So, Ankos, the freezer doors do not lock on the inside because that'd be incredibly fucked up. But, I imagine that the door can be sealed. They cannot be locked, though. The doors that lead to the freezer deck, if you wanted to leave the freezers and go lock them, you could.
I'm gonna start walking backwards slowly until I get to
You-
one of these
you
doors.
just-
My hand is gonna be held over a button, waiting to press.
I imagine as Timothy eats of this one body, you all individuals cursed with this taint see writhing tendrils of shadow emerge from Timothy's body, stretch out and stab into about 5 different corpses.
And he just rushes towards.
It is this
he rushes-
horrific scene.
He rushes towards another one, rips it open like for forbidden fucking candy pile, and just starts tearing into it. The body's just getting thrown side to side, and just bones snapping as he's ripping into it.
447 is just thinking of whenever he saw fucking Karth just start eating Ankos' severed leg.
This
Cannot help but
is...
be reminded.
This is definitely reminding you of it. I imagine the ones that are impaled via tendril, you see the vitality, or what's left of it, drain and wither into a blackened husk. At which point, Timothy, you basically pass out from a food coma, lying amidst torn apart gore, just kind of sitting there. And you see that underneath the doctor's clothes, you can see his flesh, writhing and shifting.
I.
In character! I imagine that was in character!
That was in character. I was. Yeah.
Yes.
We
and
should keep an eye on him. Yarich 447. Unless you have something to add to this, leave. I'll watch him.
I'm just a call away if I'm needed.
I'll get you in 2 hours if nothing's happened.
I'm gonna cautiously back out of the room.
I imagine as you begin to back out, Timothy, your eyes shoot open, once again bloodshot. The veins in the whites of your eyes are beginning to turn black. You look up into the darkest corner of the room, and you see 4 burning white sets of eyes just staring. A singular message in common, a text message, like in text from your perspective, appears just floating in the blackness. It says insufficient.
I imagine, like, I imagine, right? Maybe from Ankos's view, the Tim Tom in this food coma, the one eye snaps open, looks over into a corner, and just that eye is just locked onto that corner.
What is he looking at? Is he looking at us?
He is looking into the darkest corner of the room right now, just kind of like head tilted, eyes like turned over, just gazing into it. I imagine at this point you all start to see like a mist wreathing off of Tim Tom. Some of you are starting to get not necessarily disturbed because of what he is doing personally, but you start to get the creeping feeling that something is waking.
I'm going to speak up and say, Doctor, you mind getting your sanity back?
At this point, Timothy, you are starting to regain your senses and realize that you are covered in, well, ripped bellies, viscera, blood and gore, intestines still caught in the bits of your, like, between your teeth. Everything tastes like iron, and I imagine it's kind of hard not to vomit up everything that you just ate, seeing as how you are a person.
For a moment, you just hear... He, for lack of better terms, freaks the ever-loving fuck out. He is scooping into his mouth, pulling pieces of meat, and is like wiping the blood off of them, and it's just like sitting there looking at you, who I imagine, like, you have this look of like judgment on your face. It's like, where the fuck am I?
You see flickering symbols, alien from your perspective, dot and align your vision. They look almost like symbols that you've seen from horror movies, flickering across.
Oh, like Eldritch Abomination text.
Basically, just like alien sigils that you're not sure what defines their meaning. Before there is a long string of alien symbols that begin to decode into your own language. Control restored, activating personality. At which point, you kind of like look around, just kind of wondering where the hell is that coming from? Whenever you hear, finally.
Dude, is that like in my head?
Yes.
You see Tim Tom walk up to you, Ankos, and just shove
As you
out
start
of the
walking
way.
towards me.
Covered in gore.
No, you don't get close to me. As you get closer, I walk backwards. And as I'm gonna ask you as you get closer, are you back together or what? And if you don't respond to me, I am going to lock you in this room. You're not just approaching me. I look like I'm 3 seconds away from shooting you in the face, Tim Tom.
That took longer than I expected.
Get out of my head!
Right, I need to communicate what's just happened.
What did you do to me, damn it?
This is going to be difficult for the both of you, but it will have to do. I imagine your limb kind of contorts out of its own, like, you're struggling in willpower to retain control of yourself. Your arm reaches out towards a set of one of the bodies and begins to just convulse. You see a dark orb, a spherical mass, shift right before collapsing in on itself, creating a miniature, biotic sort of black hole. And several tendrils appear out of it and stab into a nearby corpse, before you see it writhe and animate, and it sits up. And you see a face, a face that has been clearly cut and vivisected by gunfire. There are scars just all across his form, perhaps even a headshot. Maybe this is somebody that 447 accurately took down with his rifle. Turns over and stares at the rest of you.
I imagine it's just me and fucking Nankos right now.
No, as Yorich and 447 were leaving, that's when this happened. I imagine they stopped to see what was happening.
Yeah.
This is the whole party.
Its mouth opens a bit slack-jawed, the cheeks torn at the sides. Hello.
I unholster my rifle and shoulder it.
It's took a while, but I'm back.
Gears start turning in my head. Aspect?
Yes.
You've chosen a rather disgusting way to reintroduce yourself.
Less energy.
You mind explaining what just happened?
Renewal. More time.
Can we expect an incident like this won't happen again in the near future? Or should we just expect Tim Tom to degrade into a wild animal every once in a while?
Unexpected degradation.
Yeah, unexpected. That's a word for this.
Interesting. The corpse snaps up onto one knee and starts to get up.
Tim Tom's backing the fuck away from this.
It's connected to you.
Wait, is it his organic arm or is it his
It's
non-organic
the
arm?
tendril, just kind of. It's a long, thin, almost mist-shrouded black tendril that is connected out into this animated corpse.
Tim Tom is finding a corner of this this gore-covered deep freezer.
It's slowly shambling up to you.
Get the fuck away from me!
Come closer.
I said get the fuck away from me!
Don't fight. Trying to help.
Wait. It's been known to us in the past that Aspect requires biomass to keep us alive the way she does. Your last reanimation was not complete.
Sleep.
Wait,
Tim,
what did it say? What did it say, Levi?
Long sleep.
Is it saying long sleep?
Yes, long sleep. You got. Just stay still, goddammit. I think I know what it's doing. I think you have to listen.
It walks up and one of its just decaying frozen arms aligned with just clearly like it's frostbitten at the edges. The fingers are starting to turn black. It brushes a shaky hand across your gore-stricken face. I'm sorry. At which point, you see the corpse start to drain of essence. It's reduced down into a black husk as you see the tendril feed into your own form. Timothy, you stand straighter than you recall you've done in ages past. While you're still covered in gore, you are back up to full HP. The husk collapses and breaks into frozen fragments on the ground.
Are you just going to turn around and...
Okay, focus. Doctor, look over here.
You look over and the sigils are still flashing in your vision. You see the coded message once again decoding back into common. Insufficient. And you hear a small voice, almost as if it were strained, like a computer operating on a brownout. Not enough. Not enough. You need more.
You hear Tim Tom echo that.
How quickly do you need more?
What are you talking about?
You said you echoed it. Need more.
I have no idea.
This hasn't
You
been a
all are
secret to
left
us.
in silence for just a bit.
This hasn't been a secret to us. Our pseudo-immortality is the cost of those we slay. This has been the most graphic display of this symbiotic relationship that I've seen so far.
It's been some time since Aspect has manifested in any way.
Tim Tom kind of gets up. I don't know, and he kind of looks over and goes, all I do know is I should technically be dead right now.
We should
and
all be not technically dead by now, yes. Thank
Oh,
you.
I mean like clinically brain dead because I have a tumor the size of a tennis ball in my head right now. And
Well,
other
I would
various
Chalk
things.
that up to being kept alive by Aspect as she's wont to do so many times.
Oh yeah.
So, I imagine Ankos, you feel a bizarre shudder, like an entity sliding into your flesh. And then a faint whisper. Aspects. We are all aspects.
If this thing can read my mind, the only thing it'll hear is, for now I'm still me.
We need to keep it quiet. Keep it fed. Less energy.
Or what? We all die. Tumors, horrible agony, writhing death.
Aspects fade.
How much and how soon do we need to not fade?
You all see Ankos shake his head. You're not even certain whether you did that of your own accord or not. Uncertain. It's an effort. It doesn't think like we do.
It will lose its vestiges if we fade too quickly.
You get a sense that power is starting to flow through your being, a bit of energy so it can properly convey, and you feel a warmth, like somebody is fully caressing their arms around you. Just kind of like a bit of a sorrowful one at that. I'm sorry. You remember the dreams, the machine. It's taken us all. I'm doing my best. I'm doing what I can.
Thank you. In some way, we are too.
The dreams. Eva, if I can even be called that anymore. We are all aspects. I am just another victim.
It sounds like if we want to maintain our personhood, we're going to have to consume as it does.
At which point
Thankfully-
you start to feel the warmth fade. It's going away as if it does not have the power to sustain itself.
In the back of my mind, the thought that lingers is death and carnage follow us like a plague. We'll be able to satiate it soon enough.
Then
Hopefully.
why is this just happening to the doctor?
He was.
I'll finally perk up and say his death was the most taxing one we've had since our initial reconstruction. He wasn't just shot, he was torn apart. Aspect I imagine had to work harder, to put it in layman's terms, to put him back together than ever before.
And thanks to that, there's still a resource deficit.
Yeah, that just spoke to me. It's trying to...
Then if we want
Anyways, we need more.
Together, well, kill.
Well, as it stands...
You hear again, just like the whisper again, lacking power. Puppet. Puppet.
Who hears that?
I imagine Ankos, he's the one that's currently being draped in it.
Puppet. It says it's saying the word puppet over and over again.
Just kind of... lesser. Costs less. Want to talk.
Do you want to use my body as a vessel?
Your hand raises up without its own accord and points towards another corpse.
If I had more color in my face to be drained, it would be gone. I'm gonna sigh and then begin approaching the corpse.
Your
And I will-
hand begins to shake without your permission, and the same small black hole begins to form, sucking in all of the ambient light about it, and a tendril impales the corpse and causes it to writhe and freak the fuck out. For something that is dead, you can't imagine its scream would be more horrid. This as it writhes and just begins to shake before it goes suddenly still. Its mouth opens. This one appears to have been gut shot. It's died via means that haven't damaged its lungs or its manner of speaking. Wrenches itself up by its broken spine and rests its hands down on the floor as its cold, dead eyes turn to address the party as a whole. Eva! Call me Eva!
Nosk.
Yes!
Alright, Eva.
We saw through your eyes once, not long ago.
I In it, I am trying to comprehend it. I need more time.
I think we all do. We'll get you as much time as we can. We're on our way to a mission, but understand that we can't just start killing at will, at random.
Kind of shakes his head. It will take us all.
I don't doubt.
This thing, we have to control it. Keep it quiet.
We'll do what we can.
It looks at its fucked up hands. Like, just, again, being in a freezer, its flesh is beginning to frost over. You're essentially looking at, like, the upper corpse of a zombie who is looking at its own frost-bitten fingers. Better puppets would help.
We'll see what the future holds in store for us, but there's nothing we can do about this right now.
For now, I do what I can. It begins to shrivel up as you see the organic matter pass through the tendril and begins to spiral towards you, Ankos.
I close my eyes, ready for what's gonna happen, and just try to accept it as much as I can.
It is a nauseous experience. You don't... It's essentially like a rhythmic, pulsating feeling of this shit sliding into you. It's horrible, but it's over fairly quickly as the puppet is drained.
Most likely after it's done falling onto a console of some kind, my legs giving out. Oh, Jesus Christ. I've had meals out of dumpsters on Axiom that were less unpleasant than that. Does anybody need a crash course, or are we all in the same boat here?
I imagine Yarich is just freaking out in the corner.
Yarich just kind of frozen in terror.
Tim Tom stands up. I need a shower. And I need to brush my teeth. Tim, you see, as Tim Tom stops, like he gets to the door, stops, turns around over to Yarich, and just goes, Yarich, I know you don't want to particularly see this, but you need to. He pulls out his phone, hits a few buttons, and then sends the data information over to Yarich regarding Phoenix.
I have a terrible thought.
We're fucking parasites.
We've lost many when we boarded this vessel. The remains of the dropship crew must have gone somewhere.
I
As
wish
you
I could
say
call
that-
it a psychopath, a madman, a monster. But I was thinking similarly. No, surely we can hold out. Surely we can wait. I don't want to desecrate the bodies of our fallen comrades. That's...
For just what happened to Tim Tom, can we wait?
I don't know. We're parasites now. We're monsters we eat to...
The die has already been cast. It's about survival.
You hear
Do we
Tim Tom
need to
say,
survive at this point?
Did you just
You hear
ask if we need to survive? Are you fucking insane?
If you want to die in a corner, go die in a corner. I don't plan on giving up this easily. But that doesn't mean I don't have my reservations about it. And that it
You
won't
hear-
keep me up for nights untold.
I don't like it either.
you hear Tim Tom chime in, the worst it gets, it'll start stealing your memories. You'll forget everything. Or I feel like we'll forget everything.
I don't like it either, but it's what we are now. And if the alternative is what we just saw, then that's no choice to make. That's no choice at all.
Yeah, if only that fucking thing wasn't so nebulous, so vague and cryptic. If it could have just given us a number, a time, an amount!
It wants better puppets. And besides, giving us some kind of amount would be like me asking you how much you need to eat over the course of your entire lifetime. You always need to eat.
What do you suggest as far as where to go from here? I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what to think. I don't even know what I want.
I can't force us into doing anything. But if we are concerned, if we are concerned with our immediate safety, then there are very likely more corpses just waiting.
I imagine, as you are left, just kind of contemplating. What is important to you?
My free will, my autonomy.
I don't know anymore.
Wait, who's it asking? Is it asking all of us?
Yankos.
And I say, my personhood, my autonomy, my free will. But at this point, the cost is substantial. Why do you even ask this? You can damn near read my thoughts, surely you know. And aren't you wasting energy talking like this? If you're not going to tell me something I can use, then save it.
Trying to help.
I know.
I am not it.
So, Aspect didn't cause the doctor's episode, it was you. You've more or less taken over it. Not taken. Maybe you have more influence on its consciousness than I thought.
Comprehend. Help.
I need to know how much time we have. What I want is to not die and be included as part of a collective having to speak through corpses. And I suppose that's what those around me want too, so what I want doesn't really matter. What we need is the important thing here that we need is to live.
You get the sense that it is currently drained. Whatever presence you felt of it before is slipping off of the reins.
I don't think we're dealing with Aspect anymore. At least, I don't think we ever have.
What we know as Aspect is
The Doctor, Ava.
it's something
She's-
between Eva Noss and whatever cosmic entity was eating my ship alive.
I'm not sure why it's assumed her personality so strongly. Why it's assimilated her consciousness in such a...
There's no telling if it's using her or if she's just poking through, or if we're dealing with some new entity entirely.
It is strange to you. It is strange to you that even whenever the voice wasn't present, even whenever Aspect or Eva, as you know her, wasn't directly communicating, this thing has still been latching onto you. It's still been repairing you, it's still been assumedly eating whatever reservoir of energy you've been carrying with you. It clearly focuses and can operate without Eva's presence.
Right. But the question is that an extension of Eva's will or not? I think...
That's uncertain.
I would like to believe that it is, but ultimately I don't know. Neither does anyone else here.
We got a glimpse of it when we went into that trance. Myself, Karth, and Jaira.
You've talked about it, yeah. I remember that. That was a day and a half.
I don't think we're quite dealing with Eva Nosh. I don't think we're quite dealing with whatever it was that destroyed the Majesty. We're dealing with something in between.
I think it doesn't matter, honestly.
And whether we like it or not, we're a part of it. We're not people anymore, we're organs. We're organs in a greater whole. Some kind of discorporeal body.
I don't disagree with you,
We're
but...
just more corpses. Walking corpses that can talk and speak on his behalf.
Well, I suppose for an exchange for that, our consolidation prize is that we would just be plain old regular corpses if we never met it.
I can't argue with that. Even if I'm not, I still feel like myself.
Ultimately, there's only one thing that matters. It's not what it is. It's not what it is. It's not what we are. It's not what it wants. It's not what we want. It's what it needs. And it needs death. And a lot of it. Pre-existing or caused by our own hand, it doesn't matter.
Then that leaves us back at the cold reality of the situation. There are more corpses on this ship.
Fine. I'll do what it takes. But, if we're gonna talk about this pragmatically, I don't see a way that we're gonna be able to do this without being viewed very negatively by the crew, the Tempest-born, and the survivors. Defiling the dead is a grave sin in any society.
Yes, you're right.
If we're to do this, we're gonna have to be very careful about it. Although, thankfully, people don't typically guard the dead. Or visit them on great occasion.
So, we wait until most of them are sleeping then.
I think that would be our best bet.
Send one of us ahead, scout out the location, and if it's as quiet as the grave should be, we all arrive and do what we need to do.
I think in the meantime I'd like to go shower and... I don't know if I'll sleep tonight, but I'd like to try.
Just a reminder that there is a bar full, and I mean chock full of stolen spirits.
Boy, Tim Tom's
think
really
that's-
considering that right now.
You know, I'm gonna go shower and I think I'll just go back to the goddamn bar.
I think I've lost my stomach for recreation.
I don't want recreation, I just want distraction, and I know if I'm left alone with my own thoughts in the dead quiet of my room for even a second, I might start screaming.
Marge is just going to go to the room he found and sit and try to make sense of what's going on with
You're
the
very
medical
quiet.
records Tom gave him.
So, as you all split up, Tim Tom to go and take a fucking shower, Anchos to go and take a shower, and then presumably you all just do what you can to cope with the situation. Yarich, you pull up the records and find that it is very clear from the established record that your mentor, Phoenix Comment, has passed on. He is declared officially dead on the Tempestborn about, I would say, 10, maybe 15 minutes ago. The medical machines are still currently running and they're trying to resuscitate him, but at this point, they're starting to pass the point of no return.
Right. Yarch wants to make a suggestion. Actually, no. Could he deduce what could be a cause of this? Maybe withdrawal from a certain.
His heart was destroyed!
This man was hooked up to thousands of tubes. He is being kept alive via life support. From the medical records, the machines are telling you it's almost like his body just gave up.
Alright.
You-
Tim Tom about. He was the one who was damn near round the clock trying to get care of this guy.
You also know that even if your mentor were to perish, his exocortex is most certainly still alive, and that rudimentary AI definitely would not want to be stuck in a dead guy's corpse.
Yeah. Is it possible to connect to that cortex from ship to ship?
I imagine if you wanted to do so, considering that Timothy gave you the contact information, you'd have to call the doctor and arrange something.
Yarch is going to do that and maybe spend his day tomorrow trying to get that.
If you can, go ahead and give me a diplomacy check, because what you're asking is a bit strange. I am sorry to inform you of your mentor's passing, but interfering with the dead is something for the morgue. We would be happy to bring you aboard next time that we are out of Echo Space, but for now, we need to not traumatize the body.
Alright. Yarch is just going to hang up the call. Thank you. Before he does, he'll say, thank you for helping him as much as you could.
I am very remorseful that it had to come to this, but he was in a bad place. He had already suffered through so much.
I saw what he was like under the effects of the venom. It was not good. It was not himself. It's probably better that I didn't know him well under venom. Yeah, he's just going to just thank you. Goodbye.
Boodoo. You
For
are
the rest
left.
of them,
Yeah, you are left in the darkness alone.
for the rest of the night, he's going to go back to the old videos he pulled off the cortex when he last saw. Honestly, he probably got a little bit of the rudimentary AI last time around.
The thing is, it's based on hardware. It is technically software and could be transferred, but you'd just be making a copy. This, we're talking about, like, removing the implant itself.
Well, Yarich will probably. I think this will probably be like basically the sci-fi version of Ashes getting it from the morgue.
Fair, fair. Well, Ankos is gonna go drown his troubles. What is Tim Tom going to do? You've already showered, I assume, after like a period of an hour, just probably sitting and crying in the sonic shower with the headset on.
Yeah,
Here's the
I
question.
imagine once he gets changed, he looks at his typical white, like, t-shirt that he usually wears, and just sits it down. It's like, well, that's a pair of clothes I'm never gonna wear again.
Yeah, there is no amount of like washing machines.
There's
that'll be
no
able
amount
to
of bleach
rid
and
of
vinegar
that.
that'll be able to get that out.
Here's
So-
the question: was Yarich able to get the sand bath off the?
Oh yeah, no, that'd still be on the dropship, though you can move it wherever you want.
I think seeing as we're gonna spend more time in here and there's more room, he's gonna see about having it brought somewhere more private here.
I kind of want to
So-
see if there's a roll of some kind I can make to determine how, like a will saving throw, to see how well I can pull my mind away from these thoughts and actually genuinely try to go back to having some semblance of a good time.
Yeah, cluster up your willpower, give me a save. I've got a DC in mind. It takes a lot. Whenever you are sitting back behind the bar and your thoughts are beginning to cloud with darkness, you catch sight of the crew members that you have managed to attain some kind of camaraderie with. You see the smiles on their faces, the way that they cluster around each other, poke at each other. They're just having fun, drinking, playing card games. And you look at the alternative. Sitting in the dark, screaming, thrashing against a wall, wondering why to whatever higher power you were put in this situation. You have two options mentally.
And
To embrace the good or embrace the bad.
Which wolf are you gonna feed?
I very, very eagerly pull my thought away from the darkness and try to enamor myself as much in the atmosphere of merriment and happiness that besets them. Engaging frequently in conversation, making drinks, not stopping for even a moment to even potentially give myself the time to think.
So, you see Tim Tom eventually walk in the bar.
To your great, maybe unnerving, Orion is behind the counter and looks genuinely somewhat happy. Almost like the entire thing didn't happen. If you were to roll an insanely well insight check, you might see that smile is a bit fake, but I don't think you want to. I don't think you care to.
No, so Tim Tom just walks up, kind of just knocks on the table.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey there, barkeep! How about you get me a double shot of vodka and a cigarette?
Here we go.
I'm gonna laugh and go, oh really, you sure don't want some disinfectant?
Ah, you know what?
Just
You're
kidding.
right.
Don't-
Just
don't
some
answer
tap
that.
water and a cigarette will be fine for me. You still got
Come
some,
on.
right?
Yeah, the water purifier still works, and as for cigarettes, I'm gonna open up my coat.
Oh,
Packets.
let's switch this back, because now that we're not having fun.
Yarich is actually
Your
going
definition
Fun,
of fun is
Levi?
fun, sir.
Fun! You just
as-
threw us through a goddamn cosmic horror roller coaster.
As for the drink request, I am actually going to go ahead and reach under the calendar and get you a beer. It's not it's not vodka. It's not water. It's something just a bit more
Fair.
fitting. And not only that, but I'm also going to pull out from my coat, reach in, and I've got a carton of cigarettes, and I'm gonna flick one out with my thumb and point the pack at you. I need a lighter.
Thank you. And he takes the single cigarette out. Yeah, I do need a lighter.
gonna open up the other pocket of my jacket and pull out just a small gilded silver flippo that has the insignia of the agency I used to work with. The Triple I.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't really tattoos very often. I try to only smoke when I'm in a bad mood, which I guess in that case I should probably be having one of these today, but whatever. Well, anyways.
I'm gonna go see if I can go beat 447's high score.
Well, that fucking helmet even fit on you.
Stops. Oh, yeah, that's
You
right.
can try.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, give it a go, but just don't get your hopes up.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. The, Trenchfoot 3, well, it depends. So, they had the Trenchfoot 3 Alpha and the Trenchfoot 3 Beta. The Beta had an adjustable head construction, but the Alpha didn't. That's the Alpha. Sorry, I played a lot of Trenchfoot back in my, childhood days.
What did you do
pretty
for
great.
a controller back in the day? I imagine you're,
so-
and I'm
so
gonna
the-
bring my hands up to like a gesture of holding a controller. You're not really proportioned for traditional.
You do look at
peripherals.
his hands, and although they are like bear-like, you get a sense that he has undergone like genetic therapy and augmetic surgery. One of his hands is legitimately a cybernetic, like clawed hand. The other one looks like some horrendous mixture of like a man and a bear.
Right, a bit. If you're gonna have a bear doing surgery, you might
What?
need to give it more
Oh,
delicate
no,
phalanges.
we weren't bred. I wasn't bred to be a surgeon. Like,
Well,
we were made to
Either
be surgeons.
way, I don't think you would have found success in that field if you didn't have, and I'm gonna wiggle my fingers, slightly different appendages.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Well, anyways, give the damn game a try. But just remember, 447 is our resident gun-toting meathead.
I imagine
I
it
doubt you're gonna
flashes
be
back over there, and you just see 447 going, "Oh yeah, my God, how could I flip this tank over 80 feet like that? This is awesome!"
So you go over and admire the cabinet, high or low.
Low.
That was not what I wanted. There we go. You got it. So this is the beta version of Trenchfoot AR. It has an adjustable helmet.
Cool.
So
What
you
do I
crank
need-
it out, you adjust the headset on the inside, and you eventually extend it out to fit your bare head before you start playing the game.
Cool. What do I need to roll to see how
I wish
If
we still had my roll on file so we could.
it was 24.
Okay.
So you go ahead and take a peek at the game and kind of get into the gist of things. I will let you either make a profession soldier check or a sleight of hand check.
I'm not proficient in proficient soldier. So what proficiency soldier is intelligence. I'm not proficient in it.
You should probably take the sleight of hand. Profession soldier is specifically a soldier thing, and you're not a soldier.
Yeah, you're right. And just because I'm not. Oh shit! I got a +6 to fucking
Well, take that
sleight
then,
of
goddammit.
hand.
You have a chance of beating his high score. You play the game and you're getting through chapter 1, killing these tribalistic Germanic tribes with black uniforms and red shoulder bands. You eventually get to chapter 2, where the comms lady starts cutting in with her her quips and stuff, and you're moving on. You get a sense that the game is leading you up towards going to the Germanic Imperium Palace and assaulting the Kaiser there. And that's about how much
Mecha
time you spend
Kaiser.
on the game. What else would you like to do with your roll of 14? You get, I would assume, second place, seeing as how not anybody has touched it aside from you and 447.
Tim Tom takes off the helmet when he's done playing.
When you
Puts it
do
up.
so, I'm gonna approach you with 2 beers in hand, and I'll hand one to you and clink the bottles. Yeah, I kind of saw that coming.
Oh no! You want to know what's ironic, right? And he kind of takes a swig. I might have spent 8 years in the military, but I spent 6 as a pharmaceutical technician. I was on the ship the entire time, giving like out ibuprofen and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's fair. You know, some people just can't shoot worth a shit. I bet you 50 credits I can beat you.
I mean,
bet you 100 credits. Never mind. I'm not gonna take on his score.
No.
But I bet you I can beat you.
but also, get this, right? Get this. Because I have a doctorate, they wanted to bring me on as a lieutenant, get a commission. But I was like, nah.
Yeah, your loss, I guess. Anyways,
Oh, yeah.
let's see how this fucking thing fits.
Now that you're thinking about it, Tim Tom, if you had taken the offer and became a lieutenant, there's a chance that you might not have ever gotten into this situation.
Yes,
Alright,
I know.
I'd like to go ahead and give my crack at the trench
Yeah,
foot
give me a
ER.
sleight of hand check or a profession check.
Let me see. Let's see, hold on. Profession detective, I think is... Okay, well, I'm gonna do sleight of hand, because, you know, that's something I'm pretty good at.
So, you get into chapter 1, and you just start acing it. There's something about this game that clicks with you, and you get past chapter 1 with ease. You get halfway into chapter 2 whenever you hit your first hiccup, which I imagine is a mecha Nazi gorilla, which you take down with a combined arms effort of katana and shotgun.
I wish this game actually fucking existed.
I know, right?
At the end, you are standing over the dead body, and John Shotgun says,
John Trench.
"Eat." No, yeah, John Trent says, "Eat shit and die," and then shoots the mecha Nazi gorilla's face off. At which point, you receive your high score of 26. You are on the top of the leaderboard.
Look at that, I haven't lost my edge. I'm gonna get on my comm unit and text 447.
As the
Beat you,
highest
nerd.
score shows up, and you see it on the very top of the fucking scoreboard, it says, "Hail to the king, baby."
No, what's gonna happen is, I'm gonna take a photo of the scoreboard, and I'm gonna send that to 447. And I'm gonna turn around to Tim Tom and say, yeah, I didn't really talk about it, but, when I was a little, street rat growing up, there was an arcade pretty close to my place, and, well, I learned how to get free games through some, pretty publicly available soft, and I played a lot of this shit.
And a text message just says, "See if I save your ass next time."
So,
You're gonna
I should mention, Timothy, you spent 10 credits, Ankos, you spent 10 credits.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I think what Yari's just going to do for a night, he's going to grab a bunch of light objects and bring them to the tub.
Okay, so you're, keep in mind, you have your salvage drone. It can operate for a maximum of 20 hours, assuming that you don't recharge it, and it can carry, basically, I think a combined total weight of, let's see, 18 times that. I would reckon it essentially is as strong as some of the strongest members of the party, like Carthan, Centurion 447, all that. You could get light or heavy stuff, whatever you want.
He's not moving the tub at the moment. He's just going to activate it, put some balls into the tub, and just jump in.
Fair. I should mention, while you are on the subject of moving stuff, there is a lot of unclaimed salvage on that Killing Blow's hangar floor. It'd take a little bit of effort of like depressurizing and repressurizing and bringing stuff into the dropship or into the Killing Blow, but you could perhaps get a pretty good like salvage count while you're sitting in your bath if you dedicate your salvage drone to the task.
He'll do that. He'll have the bay depressurized and open on the outside and just wait for a majority of the bay is filled before pressurizing it, having the drill and bring the stuff further in before repeating.
So, the day cycles into the next shift. You get to day 2 of your Echo transfer.
I
The
imagine.
salvage drone has ran out of battery and will need the rest of the day to recharge. What have Ankos and Tim Tom and 447 got up to?
I imagine like this is my headcanon. Tim Tom and Ankos wake up in the bar. Ankos is duct taped to the ceiling.
Oh,
Tim Tom has the tie bandana and like fur dye in his face to like make like a clown mask or some shit.
Oh god.
Tim Tom wakes up. I'm just throwing something out there, just some weird obscene
they
off-the-wall
partied
shit.
themselves through the night and fell asleep. Like,
Yeah, you all wake up in the midst of drunken stupors with hangovers, and where the fuck even are you? You're not even certain that this, like, where you are until you realize that you're still in a hollow promise. Once again, Ankos, you are duct taped to the central console that, like, the jukebox and the TV are set up on. Timothy is passed out in, like, the fucking lowered down node in the floor. I imagine your left arm has, like, a shaved portion now. But in terms of, like, damages, you're fine aside from that.
Roll initiative to see who wakes up first.
God.
Sure, I'll do it.
I suppose. Just dexterity. I'm not gonna fucking bother with the entire roll. Actually, wait, there is a button for initiative.
Plus 8.
Yeah, so
How the fuck
that
you rolling?
plus an
That'd be
additional
6.
So that should be a total of 8.
Wow. Okay. I'm trying to find the
Which should be a total
initiative
of plus 10.
button. Fuck it. I guess I'm gonna put the formula in.
No, it should be 8, yeah. Yeah, it'd be a total of 10.
I wish that this music would continue to work instead of cutting out for me at every turn.
I've really
Yeah, you wake up first.
That's good.
So Tim Tom just eyes snap open. Ow. 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 Gets up, looks around, rubs his eye. Notices the shaved spot on his arm. Well, that's weird. I didn't get a prison tat, did I?
You look down and you see that there is very clearly still raw on your arm a Dominion prison gang tattoo.
Oh fuck!
Sorry, not a prison gang, a minor gang, mining gang.
Tim Tom stops, looks at that, looks left, looks right, looks behind him. Ankos
I think I
looks
hear
up.
You are above him, and you do hear him.
Ankos, why?
Up here, dumbass!
Why are you taped to the ceiling? Please don't yell. Why are you taped to the ceiling?
I don't know. Please get me down. This
Wow.
fall looks like it's just enough to hurt.
Tim Tom looks at the edges of like how he's fastened to shit. Wow, I don't know who's taped
Where's
to
the
there, but
crew
that's-
at? Are they fucking passed out at their table?
Some of them are completely passed out. You guys appear to be the only ones that are currently awake here, but a large majority of them are just missing. They're gone.
So Tim Tom brings up a stool, gets up on it, and is examining the various the tape web. Ankos,
You actually
need to
do
alarm
see
you.
that there is a comm number written on you don't know if it's Sharpie or just a black marker on Ankos's head,
Oh my god.
on his forehead.
Mr. Ankos, someone doodled on your head, and I don't know which one of these to cut. You might go ahead and just brace yourself. And you see his mechanical arm, one of his fingers turns into a scalpel as he just starts snip.
What do you mean brace your
Snip.
as I probably say is boom!
Hit the ground.
Whoa!
Ow! I told you to brace yourself.
Ow! I was bound! Oh, God, it doesn't
You
matter.
see Tim Tom put a really quick, like, put some tape, or not tape, like a cloth over a shaved spot on his arm.
Oh, no. What happened to you?
Well, apparently I joined a gang.
Can I search my memories to see if I can remember when that happened or when I got taped to the ceiling?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Can I search my memory to see if there's a point I can remember him getting a tattoo or being taped to the ceiling?
You actually do faintly recall last night. You remember seeing Tim Tom, like, leaned over one of the counters with somebody with, like, actually, like, a tattooing gun. Just going to work, and you both are just, like, shit-faced grinning. And you currently have, like, a ladder that you're standing on with some people, like, surrounding you. And this one just, like, she's, like, a fairly... I'd call it, like, large, bulky woman. She's, like, fit for, like, the mechanic lifestyle. Is just duct taping you to the central console before finally, like, writing in marker on your forehead and getting you a slap on the cheek.
Oh my god.
And that's all you really remember.
Dude, Anko's is such a fucking lady killer, it's unreal. Holy shit. Like, 2 sessions ago, he fucking, like, rizzed up Nevada. Now he's getting fucking phone numbers from Dominion Mechanics.
Well,
So,
I am the guy
this
with at
fucking
least a plus
pussy
10
player.
in every single one of my speech skills, so...
So Tim Tom.
You're
hands
also
you
not a
over
bear or a tiny
Yeah.
moth or
Yeah.
a terrifying super soldier.
Yeah, if you
Or
want
a
to use
giant
the...
fucking heavy fucking mobile chunk
Yeah.
of metal.
If you want to use, like, the new fucking profile pic I selected for my fucking character, I guess I look at the closest thing to a normal dude as we can
Yes.
I don't think I've seen the new art.
get.
Here,
It's
I'll
actually
post
the
it.
exact same character as the previous one. It's the same
just in
cyberpunk
different
character.
lighting.
I just gave it better lighting.
So
Oh, that was a character you made in Cyberpunk. I thought it was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
art you found.
No, this is my character. This is my
Okay.
first cyberpunk
Okay,
character.
yeah, the
right?
lighting does look way better on that.
Yeah, because it's not a fucking blue black.
Also, your, like, diplomacy check was off the charts.
yeah.
Tim Tom hands you. You know what like BC powders are, right?
Oh, that's like the fucking headache stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's aspirin and caffeine. So Tim Tom pulls out a couple BC powder equivalents. Aspirin and caffeine. It's amazing for hangovers.
I'm gonna
trust me.
immediately put it in my hand and walk behind the counter and find the biggest container I can, fill it full of water.
I imagine it's
It's
like
just-
a big moonshine jug that is just empty.
Yeah, I'm gonna rinse it, fill it with water, pour the packet in my mouth, and then wash it down with a terrifyingly large amount of water in one go.
God.
And then I'm gonna like put the fucking giant jug on the counter and then hold it out towards Tim Tom.
Tim Tom just takes the packet, pop, 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 just shots him. Takes an okay amount, but a considerably smaller amount.
Drown out your demons with copious amounts of spirits. Looks like it worked for these two.
Oh man. All right. To immediately ruin the mood, we should probably go ahead and think about trying to find out where. Let's talk about this somewhere else. Actually, let's get out of here.
The Hollow Promise. Where are you going? Private
once
quarters or the bridge or...
Once me and Tim Tom are out of the way, I'm gonna stop and turn to him and say, "All right,
Let's go to a different music.
where?" There's no way you tell me. You remember yesterday, the conversation we had before heading down about our limited mortality and how to fix that?
Trust me, I would much rather not remember it.
Well, we have to, sadly.
Yes, I know.
In reference to a meal that we can get a hold of, we don't have access to the Tempestborn. We probably do have access to any provisions they might have from the crew of the dropship. When the rest of them are up, which they've probably beaten us up at this rate, we should continue on with our plans from yesterday. Weirdly enough, the revelry from last night has sobered me up a little bit to how dire the situation is, and right now I just care about making sure that we're taken care of. Existential crisis is gonna have to wait until we're done.
Are we really like I get what I did was I don't think that was voluntary, but are we
No,
really about
it
to
wasn't voluntary, and if we
voluntarily-
don't do this of our own volition, it will be done for us in a very barbaric and horrific manner. I don't think that's a better option here.
You know what the Look, there's a little bit of a taboo when it comes to you doing that.
Yeah,
like, I get it,
fucking
you know,
say.
I look at me, I'm a fucking bear. You know, everyone sees me and they think I'm gonna eat their kids or something.
Our existence is a fucking taboo. You think that's enough at this point to stop me?
Oh yeah, and you going over down to the deep freezer and munching on dead Klein or some shit.
I'm not doing anything. It's Eva's doing. I'm just trying to keep her happy. Listen, the alternative is to lose my mind and start gobbling up corpses in a feral rage like you did, and I'd rather not do that.
Huh?
Let's go find the others.
The fucking bar music, like, right behind this dark, ominous ambience.
Hit F5.
I'm
Anyways,
not
let's find the others
sure
and convene in council.
how comfortable
Okay.
as I am.
That must have been a Foundry thing, because that would be fucking hilarious.
Comfort is not part of this equation. I'm not comfortable. I haven't been comfortable in the last 4 months. But I'd like to live. And at that, I'm just going to walk off towards the crew quarters to find Yarich and 447.
They're not that
Yeah,
hard to find.
You found
Yeah, I
447 at the armory, but you do find him.
Yarch is not in the crew quarters on the...
You know what? Let's give me 1 moment while I go ahead and organize this. Since yeah, go ahead and do your Yarich stuff.
Yarch decided he was going to sleep in his old hammock.
Oh. So you found our room and basically claimed it as your own, and now that is where you will be doing your stuff.
Yeah.
So they find Yarich first before they find 447.
That said, 447 still is not hard to find.
Yeah, you get comm messages from him telling you that he is at the armory.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess I'll kind of like take, goad Yarch, like, hey, let's all meet in the armory. We should talk about our future for the immediate time.
Alright, so you go ahead and get a hold of the moth. By the way, Yarich, your salvage drone has been working. Let's see. You have amassed about, I would say, 3,000 components worth of salvaged goods, bringing you up to 5,500. Keep in mind, you can use this to craft just about anything. Alright, and then I will go ahead and port us over here. So you all find yourselves walking through the corridors of the ship until you reach clearly marked on a signpost right here, the armory. There is a glass window right over here. You see a house soldier with his helmet taken off, set off next to the desk right next to him, and he gives you a good glance over. Oh, you're the ones talking that the soldier told me about, right? Go ahead and come on in. And he unlocks the first door and allows you entry.
This door?
Yeah. You go ahead and cross over into the airlock, which closes and locks before the other one. He kind of quickly steps over, gives you all a glance, a thumbs up. The other door unseals and opens. And you find a entry room with a weapons bench. There are quite a few weapons just kind of being set apart. I imagine 447... You have taken the gathered weapons from the slaughtered motherfuckers and have put them here in the armory, and you've been breaking them down and repairing them.
That is actually where you find me.
While we're here, I'm gonna immediately have, completely distracted, pulled to another purpose. Do they have any fucking rounds for my hand cannon here?
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Oh god, please let this
As
be
you
a
look
good
through the
check.
armory.
30.
Nice.
You take a look around and eventually you find in a cupboard. You slide out the rack and see that there are shotgun, well not shotgun shells, but solid handgun slugs in the form of shells.
Oh, thank
You find
God.
a good, I would say, box. Let me go ahead and give you them.
Probably about 20 rounds then.
It is 25. 25 to a
25.
box.
Whew, thank God. Reload. Ah. You're gonna like look him up. You're gonna see like as soon as I sit down, you're gonna see Orion look up from the fucking bench with like a sudden purpose and go and just storm off to some of the lockers and hear him go, "Yes!"
Yes!
Walking around from the corner, or before you even hear it, you hear like the jangling of shells and then a revolver being opened, loaded, and closed. So the chamber being slapped in place.
6 more HP. I'm going to give you that, Anko, since you rested.
Oh, true.
So,
Oh, I found some fucking ammo. Thank you, God. Anyways,
I'm gonna do some looking about as well. It's like, hey, yeah, just looking around, looking for any weapons like that. Like, just look and see what they have, I guess.
There are quite a few remnants of the both the cultist soldiers' weaponry. I would say there are a couple of meager-looking rifles. There are a couple of shotguns. There are a lot of scrap weapons from the crew members. It looks like 447 is breaking them down now. You might be able to talk to him about it. By the way, 447, I'll give you kind of free reign to elaborate on what you might be doing, what you're working on, what you have in stock.
Right.
Hey, Mr. 447.
Yes, Doctor. I
Got
assume
any,
you come here for a purpose?
Well, yeah, we wanted to come make sure you was doing okay. But,
I'm doing
what's
fine.
your selection of shotguns look like?
What kind of shotguns are here?
You take a look at them. Let me go ahead and get them pulled up. Aeon SRD is a little slow on the draw. But you know for certain that they are all of civilian make. The mercenaries weren't carrying shotguns. They're soldiers. But
Shotguns are great for fucking boarding actions.
they might be great for boarding actions, but these were mercs fit for ground operations. The killing blow was not, like, really interested in boarding actions. That's her role as an interceptor is mainly as a gun cruiser.
Fair.
I picked through the dead, taking things from them, just as we are ought to do. I kind of gestured towards the weapons.
right.
Didn't find any shotguns.
There are a handful that were on the crew members, not the mercenaries.
Not among the mercenaries, anyway. The crew had some. Nothing military grade, though.
Okay.
Right. Kind of pertinent in a very morbid way. The fallen from the dropship. I don't think we've transferred them yet, have we? To the Tempest Board?
Not that I'm aware of. And if we have, if that has already happened, then I suppose we're up shit creek without a paddle until Echo Translation ends. I kind of look around. Is there any way we could be being observed or listened to right now?
In here, in a pirates area, I imagine there is probably one singular camera, but it is cold and lifeless, considering the skeleton crew.
It's safe enough to talk here. I doubt there's anybody manning that camera.
Well, either way, I'd like to pay my respects, and I'm sure all of you would like to do the same. I am going to go ahead and start looking around, and I'll let you know what I find, so you might too pay your honors.
Yeah, look. Maybe don't let too many people know that we intend to do this.
I wouldn't, trust me, I won't.
Because...
But I suppose going
if you tell everybody that we're going to pay our respects and then something happens on that dropship, who do you think they're gonna point fingers at?
Well, you take it like I'm not used to some level of espionage or subterfuge.
Just saying.
Don't worry, it'll be. I hope it'll be fine.
I kind of take a closer. Hold on a second. I don't want to hold this for too long. I need to look something up. So I kind of take a closer look at you, Ankos, and I start to say 8675309. Just looking at you, face on.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
I point at your forehead.
Oh! Right. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Is that a calm number?
Yeah, don't, yeah, I'm gonna start, like, trying to, I'm gonna, this is gonna be a little bit untasteful. I'm gonna point to go, okay, I need to get rid of that, but can you read the numbers out to me again real quick? I'm gonna put it in my calm units.
Sure. 8675309.
Okay, thank you. And then I wipe. Then I wipe it off my forehead and go. All right, well that's over with.
Yeah.
It's launch codes. Don't worry about it.
Launch codes.
Look,
God.
I kind of wanted to get that plan going last night, but it seemed like some of you had better things to do.
I think a clear head was required, and now I have about as clear as head of as I can in the
Yeah,
situation.
especially now that it's not marked.
Yeah, your head is very clear and pounding.
Well, the point is, it's not filled with fear and grief.
All
Death.
covered in Sharpies.
Well, hey, you forget this is Seccaro. We can't call them Sharpies. They gotta be Barbies or something.
Barbies.
Yeah.
I'm not calling them that.
Well,
what about
anyways,
Garpies? Or Garpies, or
Marker. It's just a
Zarpies.
marker.
A marker.
Anyways, I'm going to go start looking. If you all would like to do the same of your own accord, I won't stop you, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'll let you know when I find something.
I am not being involved in this. I just, if you're gonna do whatever you gotta do, you go do it. I'm not. No.
Doctor, I don't have to remind you, you're the one that's most responsible
I-
for any of us.
And he kind of like twinges a little bit. I am painfully aware.
If you're gonna resign
And I
yourself
just
to
need-
die and give up, just put yourself in a damn airlock and send yourself
If
away
there's
from this.
any one of us here who needs it the most, it's you. You can't say no to this.
Just think about this rationally.
I'm a civilized bear. I'm not one of those bears that walk around on all four in the
this
woods.
is
You
about
were
being
yesterday.
This is about being
I-
an animated corpse that needs other corpses to keep moving.
I imagine through your haze-fogged headache of a mind, you remember both, like, just a slight tinge of iron and something from your past. You were reminded of, in your distant military career, the sight of smoke, acrid tang in your nostrils, and watching a large beast ripping something apart. But the memory quickly fades, and you're back to normal.
It's not about being an animal. It's about
I know.
continuing on.
I know it's not about being an animal. Okay? You're asking. You gotta look at it from this, okay?
We're asking you
I
to
am
either die or don't die. That's all this is. Take everything else out of the equation.
Well, can
simplify it
you
as much
give
as
me a
possible.
goddamn moment?
Talk.
Do you understand? I am not used to walking around and eating the dead guys. I don't know how the hell, even with all of this and the imminent threat of mortality slowly, killing us, I don't know how the hell you guys are staying so calm about the fact that all of a sudden eating a dead guy is cool.
Because we have no other choice. The
I
die
get
has
that there's
already
no-
been cast. There's a plan, and now we act on it. There's only one way forward. And the alternative is much less attractive. They're already dead. We might as well be too, but at least we can still speak, we can still act.
Tim Tom flips open his little his medical kit on his arm. Starts punching in some numbers. Just starts typing on it. Fine, Ankos, go. Take me. I don't know where the fuck these guys are.
Ankos is
Sure,
going to go ahead.
I'm going alone to scout for the
We
time
will wait
being.
here.
During this entire time, Yarger
Now, if you
sits
would
on.
like something to do to take your mind off of this, while Ankos does his work, you can help me strip these weapons down and reload the rounds. Besides,
Tim
Doctor,
Tom-
there's something I wanted to talk to you about.
Tim Tom starts getting down and starts taking, he definitely seems upset. He's upset, but he's taking the weapons apart, putting parts in solvent that need to be cleaned, stripping the rounds. Well,
So-
447. Oh,
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. As you're stripping the rounds, go ahead and I would say if you were just assisting, then go ahead and make me a engineering check. For 447, I would imagine it would be profession soldier.
Yes.
Alright, so you give him a +2 bonus to his check.
Damn.
Alright, so
Nat
by
20
the
for
time
reporting, total of
keep
29.
in mind
Nat 20 's
you
not
guys
good,
yeah, you guys will be talking as this procedure is happening. You will assemble fully one cohesive breaching gun, which is something that Timothy might be interested in.
While we're doing this, it's almost like 447's hands are moving independently of his mind. It's like mechanically his body's doing one thing, but his consciousness isn't even involved. It's just a second nature, almost muscle reflex. And while he's doing this, he says, "While I have you here, there's something that I need to ask you that only you can really answer from where I'm sitting."
okay.
Well, by my estimations, if Ankos is right, we've been operating together for about 4 months. I've been out of cryo for about 4 months. I know that's not all of the time that I need to be back to my full self, to recover and rebuild muscle mass and get the neurons in my head firing again. There's not quite enough time. I still don't feel right. I feel like I should have made more progress by now, but I still have this constant fog over my head. My muscles still don't contract on command like they used to. It takes a second. I feel like I'm always just a few moments behind what I want to do. And I think that should have gone away by now, but it hasn't.
Well,
I feel like I'm experiencing just cryo sickness all the time. Like I just got out of that damn pod.
Tim Tom's kind of as he's putting a boar brush, like cleaning a barrel. Look, considering some of the medical anomalies that are going on with me, that, like I said, I should already be dead.
Right.
I don't know. I, technically speaking, should not have the capabilities of the various fine motor skills in which I already have.
And that's...
You should be a pickle.
I know.
Like, chemically, your red blood cells should be disintegrating. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, chemically speaking, you resemble an embalmed body.
There's an element of this that has to be aspect of nos or whatever. I'm not denying that, but wasn't sure who else to take this to.
Well, I don't... I mean, we could run some tests. I would need... Well, first off, does your... Well, I'd have to run some tests. I could run a physical on you, but that's... Blood dialysis, toxicity levels, stuff like that.
I think you once told me that a lot of this healing process will involve my body flushing out the old stasis toxins. So maybe some kind
More
of
or
blood
less.
test to see if it's still kicking around in there would be useful.
Tim Tom kind of looks around.
I don't know about your
Yeah.
body, but most humans usually take about 7 years to flush out old cells
Doesn't
from
take
the body.
7 years to piss out a poison.
Yes,
necessarily.
I've been running and fighting and sweating and
Heavy metals, for instance. Heavy metals have a hard time being
I'm not a doctor. I
filtered
know.
out through the kidneys or
Right.
through perspiration.
I don't know a
That-
damn thing about medicine or the human body, and I'm not even entirely, well, human.
And to be honest, I don't know what all's been done to you. Like, as a medical professional, I don't know the extents to your biological and cybernetic augmentations.
The only
Like, I would
person who
actually
be
have
able
to
answer that question is gone.
I would have to sit you down and, dare I say, do an exceptionally invasive research to find out a lot. But I don't know. And Tim Tom kind of sits there and he pulls up your medical records, right? Like, because Tim Tom has medical records on all of you. He
Yeah.
kind of sits there and just looks at it, your bones have a titanium carbon graphite mesh over them. They're porous enough to allow capillary action between the marrow of your bones to the exterior. I don't know what's going to be the result of that sitting in a tube for 1,000 years or 2,000 years to 1,000 years. And he kind of points over to other parts, and he's like, he's just explaining all these other things, like compared to like Ankos versus you. It's like, technically speaking, you're the first one I've ever first thing like you I've examined. I would have to do some prolonged, deliberate studies.
If it's not too much trouble, we do have nothing but time on our hands in necrotranslation.
You have 3 more days to go through.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have actual proper equipment to do this.
I
Wait,
see.
hang on, is yeah, because the
The,
fucking
dro- the
dropship.
dropship doesn't really have a medical bay. It has like a medical ward area with beds and
Yeah,
shit.
it's
The
more
Killing
akin
Blow
to
does
like
not
a
have any medical equipment either. You'd have to steal that.
yeah. Look,
You
Let's
you
get
could do
this-
some rudimentary tests just to like glaze over and see if there's anything you could catch.
okay, so Tim Tom's gonna kind of, I guess, like after we get this weapon assembled, is going to start going over some
Yeah.
rudimentary tests.
Once you're done, you now possess a fully fledged snub breaching gun. It is essentially a double-barreled shotgun designed to breach into areas.
I crack it open on the action and flip it back into place with a snap, and then I hand it the Tim Tom handle first. Thing of beauty.
Is it like a like
It
Like a
is-
sawed-off style.
It is
shotgun?
not a breech gun. It has its own magazine that has to be chambered by
Oh, I
like
see.
pump actioning it. It has a tube, but it has 2 tubes.
It's like
Oh, so it's like
the
that
other.
one. It's like that one weird Caltech fucking shotgun.
Yeah, you have to load each tube individually. It holds about 8 rounds.
Oh shit. Collapsible stock or no collapsible stock, or does it even have a stock?
I imagine no collapsible stock. It's just like a full-on. I would probably say wood is pretty expensive. Probably some kind of like carbon
Plastic.
fiber, plastic sort of stock. It is heavy though. You get the sense that this thing is made to break down doors.
Tim Tom kind of sits there and just tests the action a few times.
I mean, you pull it back. It works.
While you're doing this, I'm gonna say, if rudimentary is the best you can do, I'll take what I can get.
And Tim Tom's gonna look over to Yarich. Look over to you. How thorough do you want me to be with the equipment I have? And he kind of closes his eyes and just like gives this look of, please just be rudimentary.
As thorough as you can be.
Tim Tom kind of walks over to Yarich, kind of pats you on the back, and is Enko still in the room?
No.
And kind of just gently brings Yarich to the door. Look, Yarich, I need you not to be here.
If this is going to be something graphic, we can always find another board. We're not gonna make
I
a mess
think
of
we
it.
really should. I actually think we should.
Alright, let's go find somewhere else.
Could go to the dropship.
How many? Yeah, we'll go to the dropship.
Alright, you go there,
I'm
you go
going
to
send a
the,
text to Anko just to keep him updated on where we are. I'm gonna let him know we're going to the dropship for unrelated reasons, and he can continue, like, doing.
I'm gonna reload. While I'm going down, you just see me just like the shotgun flipped upside down. Just,
4 shells in each tube.
oh man, this seems a lot lighter than I thought it would be.
It's light compared to your frame.
I'm a bear.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Compared to your frame, it's light. You give that thing to Yarich, it might crush him to death.
It's a fucking 4-bore shotgun.
So, that being said, Ankos,
Yes.
you are traveling through the dropship trying to locate the remains of the dead crew, right?
Yeah.
I imagine you find them. You guys have a cold storage unit. You've used it before, but you
I will be
decided
back. I'm gonna go smoke.
to evacuate the crew member. What do you do whenever you find this room?
I want to search the rest of the dropship as well as avenues to the dropship to see if there's a way that we can get here without being noticed by a lot of the crew.
I imagine that as long as you are quick and quiet, there's a good chance that you could get here without anybody seeing, but it would demand a stealth check. Zacharias makes his presence known here on board his vessel, and his guards run around here. They're not really into like their patrols because they're mostly focused on protecting the noble, but the dead aren't the biggest priority.
Right. Actually, I'm kicking around an idea right now.
Yeah.
If, let's say, we came up with a pretense that the cold storage failed, we can't stop our echolocation to, move the bodies, but it wouldn't be safe to keep them anymore. If the cold storage failed, they'd have to be disposed of. Can I get where I'm going here?
Are you gonna try and make it intentionally fail?
Yes.
Fair
Maybe the
enough.
bodies are. Maybe we find a way to handle the cremation of the bodies, or something like that.
That's your thoughts. Do you actually want to kick on, like, or at least sabotage the AC in here? Make it to where it's non-freezing temperature and the bodies start to spoil?
I'm gonna before I do this, I'm gonna go back to the party and I'm gonna go find 447 and ask him.
Yeah, fair enough. You find them both
You're
in
actually
the
heading towards the dropship when you find us.
yeah, whenever you try to leave, that's where you find them.
As I find the group, I'm gonna, bring up, hey, I think I've thought of something that could potentially help some awkward questions.
Alright, let's hear it.
I found where they're keeping the deceased. It's a cold storage on the ship. The problem stands, though, is as soon as we get an echolocation, or as soon as something has to happen to the transferring of the bodies, it's going to raise questions. I think what we should do is we should persuade the cold storage to fail. That'll mean they'll have to dispose of them somehow, either airlocking them or cremating them to prevent any type of biological hazard. And I think that we should try to find a way to inject ourselves into that situation.
That would make sense, but then how do we access the airlock area?
Well, I suppose the way that could work is the crew of the dropship. I'm sorry, what was the actual name of the dropship again? Out of character. The dropship is they're going to have to cremate them. It might be a painful task for them, cremating their friends. We could ask to handle it for them.
That's a thought.
It's a bit of a gamble, but quite frankly, I think it should be, even if it does result in something unsuccessful, like us actually losing the bodies, I think we should do it anyways at the risk of loss, because I can't think of a way that we can get rid of said bodies without there being a serious problem.
Remember, whenever I think we had landed the dropship on another echo-capable vessel. We were in transit, and there was an incident. That echo creature entity made its way into one of the crewmates. We had to kill her. There wasn't really. There aren't any. There's no cremation facilities there. They do tend to just
Space though.
Space.
On that killing blow, there might be an incinerator.
We should find this out.
Poke around the killing blow, see if there's any kind of incineration facility, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that'd be our best bet.
If they do decide to shoot them out, then I guess. So here's something else to consider.
I'm back.
What's the likelihood they're going to want to attend any kind of procedure out of respect?
Quite high, honestly. That's what I've been thinking about too. I'm trying to think of ways to make this not devolve into a sticky situation. I just kind of want some feedback, something to bounce this off of.
You hear the sounds of footsteps. It's the same boots that you recall Zacharias wearing.
Shit.
He walks and opens the door into the room and begins looking around at both of you. Oh, hey, I was thinking about what we talked about earlier. With our acquaintance.
Yes, I recall. Have you come up to a decision yet?
I think that we need as many hands as we can get. And if that involves putting up with his eccentricism, not a word, but mind me, I think he will be a worthy asset.
What's the likelihood he loses his cool and tries to assault us after our last interaction?
Non-zero, but we can speak with him. We can at least get his... He kind of like puts his hands up. I've never been the best at explaining these kinds of things.
No, I understand. I mean, you've given me your confidence that he would listen to you and heed your advice dearly. I still trust that you have enough control over him to keep him from doing things stupid.
We're far removed from Gilead.
What, Sorry, I don't mean to break the topic of conversation. What are you all up to?
As he says this,
I'm gonna
I
let
kind
you
of-
guys handle this.
well, I'm gonna look back to 447. You're going to see, transmit it non-verbally as best as I can, almost a prodding, like, do you think I should just tell him?
Can you make a bluff check to try and successfully pass this over?
Yeah, sure.
His eyes narrow, and he kind of gives you like a quizzical look. Something wrong?
Quite a few things, actually. Out of character. Have we ever told Zacharias about our whole undeath
I
thing?
think
He's
aware, yeah.
he's once met his dead sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, in that
I
case,
think he's called you guys like
I think he's actually
undead
called us the
abominations or
Deathless.
some shit.
Yes.
I'm actually going to look up at him, seeing that he's obviously quizzical, and that I'm realizing now that all of this subterfuge, all of this scheming might actually be at our detriment. Something that could cause distrust and hatred towards us from people that have been allies to us for so long. And I'm going to look up to Zacharias and go, no, we're actually not alright, and we are in need of your help, actually.
What's wrong? Since he's not really here, I'm going to pull us onto the Killing Blow overview.
I think Tim Tom would be
And
interested
I will
because
show
he and I
players.
were
Yeah.
on the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt, I was waiting for Matt to come back.
I'm back.
So I kind of bring a hand up to my helmet and rest my fucking faceplate into it like, oh god.
So can Tim Tom like get the whole? Ooh, where did you? I like that act like that sparkly kind of fucking chest rig design. Just saying.
think
I
it's
just
supposed to be
realized.
tread plate.
So can I get the sense from Enkos that he's more or less trying to convey what we're trying to ask,
Yeah,
and
Ankos
Tim
is
Tom
trying
might.
to drop the fucking.
So
I'm dropping the anvil, and I'm pretty confident the way I can do so. Zacharias has been pretty understanding with us in the past. Anyways. Well, you know very well of our condition, if that's one way to put it. That we can
I've been trying to not think too much about it, but I have my own dark past as well.
Quite frankly, we try not to think about it too much too, but there's not exactly too much lee room for that.
I bring my hand away from my faceplate. It's more like a dark present.
A curse. Anyways, you know of our ability to cheat death in ways that most can't. It's not an ability that comes without a price at all.
Right, it's why you call yourselves the Deathless, after all.
Right. Well, unfortunately, not terribly long ago, we found out why we can do this. The source of energy for why we can come back so many times. Throughout our travels, it's no secret that we found conflict and death wherever we roam. Apparently, the thing, the entity, that's been keeping us alive does use our conquest as a food source. It feeds on death, and that's how it restores us.
He kind of puts up a finger, like vampirism.
Yeah, in a sense, honestly. Although, unfortunately, there's no way I don't know if vampires can consume a target without leaving it fully dead, but...
I have information on my family's clan. I trust the majority of you. Eating flesh is something they cannot do. It's purely the blood. Blood of the living, mind you.
Right. I don't know if really just any organic matter will do, or a soul, but it seems that the strange and, quite frankly, disturbing source of our abilities comes from just plain old death of sentient creatures. And
is that entity... I hate to bring this back up. Is that what was parading my sister's corpse around?
Yes it was.
He kind
I'm
of gives
sorry.
like a brief shiver.
Not
Like I said, I've
intentionally.
been
It doesn't-
trying to avoid that, but I figure I might as well get it out in the air.
It didn't
That's-
kill her. It didn't kill her. It had nothing to do with her death. I can assure you that with absolute certainty. It
If
assumes
I
puppets.
had to reckon, it probably borrowed her from the Perendor Keep.
You
Am
would
I
be
correct
correct
in that assumption?
It assumes hosts and puppets from the dead as
Where
indiscriminate
is her
as it
corpse
needs
now?
I don't believe it's. I don't believe it's still in existence. I think it's been
No,
assimilated.
her corpse, last time I remember,
Doom's tread.
yeah, her corpse is currently entombed within Entombed.
My father's Reaper.
Yes.
Apparently, they,
I
The
knew
previous
they
pilot.
were close.
yes.
I hope he's given her a burial. If not, we shall see to it that we will find him one of these days and put that to rest. I have spent far too long ignoring the fates of my family. It's time to... He kind of like shakily, keep in mind he's not like the most masculine figure. Time to take control of our own fates.
Your
I-
father's reaper isn't exactly bound to the flesh anymore.
Unfortunately, we kind of still are.
So, anyways, we've been getting slightly off topic, but I don't lament that. You know, getting away from this conversation is something I don't hate, but Zacharias, the reason we need your help is because our last encounter, our supposed reincarnation or revitalization, was especially taxing this time. And the usual bounty we reap from victory wasn't sufficient. We need more biomass to survive.
His expression darkens. I think what you need is more information.
What makes you say that? I'm sure what information we could find about this. I would love to know more, but nobody else knows anything about this sickness.
Thing is connected to undeath in some nature. My clan is also particularly embellished in the arts of necromancy. This is something that I've been meaning to avoid for a long, long time, putting my family's past and traumas behind them. But we are at a point now where it is do or die. We need to bring back Jackson. He has more knowledge of this than I do.
Well, if we can find any information, any help, any possible answers, we'll take. Yes, I thank you for your assistance in this and for not immediately repulsing in horror at our disgusting request. As I'm sure you know where that was leading to.
His face crinkles just a little bit, and he kind of like makes a motion towards himself. You are aware of my half-breed nature, correct?
I suppose so. I'm sorry. I don't mean to insult. This is just something that's very alien and taboo to us.
Well, I must say, you have me rather intrigued. I know it must be horrible on your end, but this
1,000-yard stare from Tim Tom.
This might just be some way to tilt things in our direction, in our effort.
Yes, right. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually quite happy to talk to Jackson again, potentially. What a
Okay.
fucking clown world we live in, my god.
So what we will need is, of course, the blood of a living host, and to remove the stake implanted in his heart. I can serve for both measures.
How much blood do you need?
He's been festering in that coffin. I assume it would have been... He kind of glances down. Vampires, their regenerative properties escalate with time. The longer that they spend dead, the longer it takes to revive them. He's been gone a solid 3 and some such months. I imagine just me will not be enough to satiate his appetites.
With all due
Tim Tom
respect, I
starts
would
rifling
like,
around
no,
his bag, pulls out a fucking like a fucking IV kit.
With all due respect, I would like to be the donor.
Well, first off, I need to know how much blood is going to be required. We take too much from you, it'll kill you.
Yes, I know, but I feel that's only right I step up. I'm not saying to bleed me like a stuck pig, but Doctor,
I and
sustained.
he are both doctors. We can all contribute here. This is going to be a shared problem between all of us.
Tim Tom is going to, you know what? Tim Tom's also going to look over to the 447 and go, Mr. 447, would you be willing to donate towards this cause as well?
If it's what we have to do to solve our problem.
Regardless,
Mr.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mr. Zacharias, do you think a leader should do?
Oh, we shall do what we can. I don't wish to stress any of our systems. Our vitae is important to our function as well as his.
No, Doctor, while my blood is being drawn, you could retain some of it for analysis, given what we discussed
Yes.
back in the armory.
Yes. So, Tim Tom's going to walk up to you, Enkos, and be like, can I see your arm, please?
I hand it out. You and 447 need to give as little as you can. You're both
Before we do this, the fresher the better. We need to navigate to the brig.
Right then.
Okay.
Right. You two, Doctor, you sustained very grievous wounds very recently. You're weak.
I
exactly
feel actually quite healthy.
Maybe you
entirely
feel
honest.
that way, but regardless, you seem to be the least physically stable out of all of us. 447 is, for lack of a better description, the brawler and the tank of our group. I would really not like to diminish his physical capabilities. The only thing that I need to keep in fit fighting shape is my mind. My body doesn't matter. It's never been an asset of mine. Also, if I'm going to be honest, I do feel a bit of guilt. Jackson is in that coffin primarily because of me. Our last conversation, I have bold-facedly lied to him, saying I'd guarantee his safety, and now he's dead. I'm hoping that maybe he'd feel less furious at me if most of the blood that goes to, at least a large portion of it, that goes towards reviving him comes from me as a show of good faith.
It wouldn't have needed to happen at all if you weren't doing what he was doing to Kiliad.
I know, but it doesn't change the fact that he's still at some core part of his being a human, and humans get upset when you wrong them or lie to them.
Look,
Even if he was in the wrong.
Mr. Enkos, what's your body weight?
I don't know, 125 pounds?
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I'm taking half a liter. The most, regardless, half.
Fine, damn it. One time I tried to be altruistic.
I don't know
Hey.
how good my blood is, but if this is really necessary, I've got plenty to go around.
I mean, to be honest, I'm like 1,200 pounds. I mean, I could...
You're a bear. Do you think your blood is really that compatible with him?
The
I
blood of
don't
living
know.
vitae should be effective, regardless of the source. Animalistic blood is, lesser compared to its more humanoid compatriots, but you're an uplifted bear. Your soul is different, clearly.
I'm human, but I'm altered. Does that make a difference?
I don't know.
He might think it's a bit of added spice. Who knows? Or he could think it's disgusting.
I guess we'll find out.
Dude.
So,
Want me to roll a medicine check?
you navigate to the brig and are confronted with the coffin. Zacharias takes a key from out of his pocket and goes and undoes the lock and inside you find what almost looks like, how you remember him, armor, helmet, and all. except his armored jacket is lowered. His the two sides are like pushed out to either side to expose his open, gray, pallidly chest, and there is a wooden stake that has been firmly wedged right into where his heart should be.
So I'm gonna roll a medicine check to extract 1 liter of blood across all 3 of us, like total.
Alright. You do so, and you do so pretty efficiently and painlessly.
So this armor is like hooked into my body. I assume there's some like plug or something we can pull to get blood out of.
There are injection ports, and you could always remove your helmet
Yes,
or remove your gauntlets or something
Gauntlet would make
individually.
sense, yeah.
Regardless,
Putting a fucking putting a fucking IV in like through your hand hurts like a son of a bitch. I don't know if you guys know.
I am sure. It is quite the experience now that you have the accumulated vitae, and
Oh,
Jackson.
and a sample of 447's blood for further analysis.
Yeah, just
Of course. You take it apart in a separate vial and clip it to your belts. With that being said, Jackson, who is just this pale and pallidly corpse, helmeted, armored, Zacharias leans
before
down.
we put this in here, what's the likelihood that he's gonna, like, I don't know, immediately jump up and become incredibly violent? His last memories were of you fighting him, and he does not like us.
That is exactly what I was concerned about.
Should we, like, I don't know, handcuff him? I'm trying not to be disrespectful. Please forgive
Not
me if I
told
sound
you
that way.
this. He was staked willingly.
My apologies. And he hands the bag of blood over to fucking Zacharias.
Grotesque, thank you. He takes the portion that you're allowed to siphon open, places the hose down into the coffin, and then goes to remove Jackson's helmet. Inside is almost reminiscent to a skull. Elongated, bald. There's some, like, fragment of remaining hairs that stick up. He is but ugly.
A Nosferatu.
Fanged, just horrible visage. A scar clearly dividing his lower jaw into his upper jaw and clearly, like, cracking and rending flesh above his right eye. His ears are long and pointed. He has an almost bat-like face. Zacharias opens the siphon, and the blood.
So as he starts to drain the blood, 447. As a soldier, you probably notice, just in case you hear a slight click.
Yeah.
As the safety of a shotgun gets put from safe to ready.
With his other hand holding the IV bag,
I'm
he
back
uses
there
his
with
free
action
one
already.
to pull out the stake. He is not moving, but the blood is entering through the gaping, jagged scar in his mouth, feeding through the tube. After about a minute, you see his jaw making cyclical motions. And you start to hear the sounds of, like, imbibing. He moves on to the second IV, hooks it up to the tube, and allows it to drain. Eventually, he seizes hold, his jaw opens just enough between the teeth, the fangs, that he takes the whole thing into his mouth and begins siphoning off of it. By the time that the second blood bag is ended, it has been about 5 minutes. By the third one, he weakly reaches up with his hand to seize the blood bag in his, and just easily rips the top of it just off and begins to down the thing whole. At which point, I will go ahead and show you. Let me go ahead and adjust his token name. There we go, that should be appropriate. His eyes flicker back to evil life.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I love this.
And
I love this
Jackson
art. Yeah.
is resurrected.
Holy shit.
He finishes off the rest of the third blood bag and... So you raised me. You care after all. And you, the ones responsible for my imprisonment. Thank you for your contribution. He takes the emptied blood bag and just limply throws it off to the side. For what purpose, might I ask? Zacharias leans down. It has been quite some time since last you trod the path of living, Jackson. As a member of the Stenham family, I would hope that you would offer your assistance. Help us. Your memory runs deep. Do you know anything about their affliction? His eyes kind of go into one of smugness, and he looks over towards you. Sick, are we? Come here then, let me have a look at you.
Tim Tom will prevent the others from getting too close and will approach himself. And just staring him almost in the eyes with this look of fear, disgust, and try it, bitch, I dare you.
My visor is fixed on Jackson. I'm ready in case anything happens.
Describe your symptoms.
Overall, Tim Tom will thus then describe the various symptoms and basically aspect in general. Like, what it is capable of doing, what it has done, the weird shadowy creations that it can, the strange text-like speech that it can do from the shadows, the realization that it can, or the thing that it basically can drive a person to a feral state to satiate itself, how it feeds off of more or less death, the physical bodies of the slain, the souls of the slain, how it is actually capable of saving the soul from the afterlife, the whole shebang. Like, everything Tim Tom personally has experienced as a result of aspect, he will explain.
You, as you are talking, see the hunger in Jackson's eyes. This is a being that has likely starved himself even before he was staked. And now that he has had a taste of fresh blood, he is looking at you as if you were food rather than a person. But he listens. And eventually, he comes to a conclusion. Oh, that is awfully reminiscent of ancient necrotechnology. You all are affected by one of the pre-shattering necrotechnological artifacts of the Tenebrous Imperium. Yes.
Well, that sounds like a grand old
Shattering?
time.
Oh, pre-God's death, huh?
Yes. Yes. You see Zacharias is twisting his mustache just a little bit in a bit of, like, anxiety. That would mean your afflictions go far deeper than just some meager zombie plague. We need more information. We're heading to House Mortis territory. At which point Zacharias, he looks down at Jackson, and Jackson slaps up his hand, like his head. Ah, House Mortis! They aided us in the last war against the Syndicate. I have great respect and admiration for them. We're going to their territory, are we?
I twitch.
Well, they, among all others, are the safeguard. They are the keepers of ancient secrets and technology. They would know more about your curse than most.
It doesn't solve our immediate problem.
And your immediate problem is you need sustenance, correct?
Unfortunately.
He extends out his hand. I welcome you to the Brotherhood of Parasitism. We will both have to solve our thirsts or hungers.
He puts out his hand for like a handshake or something.
Oh yeah, no, he's handing out his hand, which looks like, I mean, they were gloved before, but clearly he has taken off his glove just to like get a sense of his own flesh again, and you can see that these dagger-like fingers are being held out to you in a form of a handshake, as if to help him up, maybe.
So Tim Tom will stand up, looking down at him. Can I ask you a question, Mr. Jackson?
Depends on the question.
Did you choose to be like this?
Does anyone choose a life like this?
I don't know.
The
if we're
answer
in a
is,
position-
it's complex.
I don't think we're in much of a position to criticize this at the point.
Tim Tom will grab him, like take his hand and lift him up.
He grasps a hold of yours, and you can tell he is fairly strong. I mean, you get a sense that he's not even trying. He is squeezing your hand so hard that you feel like it might pop. But he pulls himself up, cracks his neck. Let's get to portioning. And that is where this night's episode will end.
Let's get to
Jesus fucking
portioning.
Christ.
Holy fuck! What kind? The twists and turns! Emotional damage!
Emotional damage. Fuck.
I liked this episode.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut the recording here.